could be jailed for up to 10 years. Detectives are trying to find 4 men who were seen near where a teenager was murdered in Luton. The 19-year-old was fatally stabbed in the heart in the early hours of Friday morning. A 43-year-old man has been released on police bail. Detective Chief Inspector Sean Basra of Bedfordshire Police says the 4 men went into an alleyway near Hastings Street.
Post-mortem report suggests that the cause of death was a single stab wound to the chest. I know there was a lot of pedestrian traffic in and around the area at that time. I'm particularly interested in a group of 4 males that were seen in an alleyway in Hastings Street going into Elizabeth Street.
GPs have started referring patients back to the controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage. From this week, the centre is back under NHS control. Tony Fisher reports.
4 months ago, the Care Quality Commission said the licence of the privately run centre should be suspended, and many doctors in Hertfordshire stopped sending patients there. It followed the deaths of 3 patients after routine surgery and the loss of thousands of patient records. The NHS has now paid £53 million to buy it back from Clinicenta and carry out surgical operations themselves.
An innocent man who spent years in prison for the murder of his girlfriend in Milton Keynes has submitted another claim for compensation. Barry White was wrongly jailed for the murder of 19-year-old Rachel Manning over a decade ago. Earlier this month, another man was found guilty of the crime. Barry has told Iain Lee that it's not up to him how much compensation he gets.
What price can you put on 13 years? That's not up to me to decide. That's up for their solicitors and the government to decide how much I get.
In sport, Andy Murray has helped guide Great Britain back into the elite group of tennis. The Wimbledon champion returned to the Davis Cup team to beat Ivan Dodig in straight sets as Britain won 4-1. The weather for Bedtards and Bucks will be cool today with blustery showers. Top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Oh, isn't it chilly this morning? Isn't it chilly? It was chilly all night. Pyjamas and a T-shirt in bed. That's the current formal wear. Lots coming up in the first hour of the show, including he served 6 years in a prison for a murder he didn't commit. He's now seeking compensation. You can hear my exclusive interview with Barry White. We'll have all the latest exciting news on the NHS taking control of the Stevenage Surgery Centre. And the Queen gives the corgis lashings of her special gravy. Isn't that an image to behold? We've sent Justin Dealey out to ask what treats do you give your pets? Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you want to get in touch this morning, you can do. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. You can send me a text 81333, start your text 3CR, or you can give me a call 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I just bent over to lift up the toilet seat and my battery went... And then it was kind of okay. And then I needed to go to the toilet again the next day. And I bent down to pick up the toilet seat. Then and my back has not recovered. How on earth has that happened? That means I'm kind of, I don't know, getting old and things. If even going to the toilet is causing me pain. 08459 455 555. I need someone to come in and just take my back off and replace it with a new back. I think that's the only thing that's going to fix that. Right. The conviction of Bletchley man Shahidul Ahmed for the murder of Rachel Manning has strengthened the case for compensation for 2 men wrongly accused of involvement in her death. Rachel's boyfriend, Barry White, served 6 years in prison before his conviction was quashed in 2007. He submitted a second claim to the Ministry of Justice via his lawyers. Well, here's the first part of my exclusive interview with Barry White, who finally feels ready to begin rebuilding his life. Barry, it's very nice to meet you. Tell us a little bit about... you've been looking for compensation, haven't you, for the last 5 years? How's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. At the minute, our solicitors are dealing with it, and I think we've put in our second claim for consideration now, and hopefully we should hear something soon, hopefully.
I'm kind of naive at this. I kind of thought you go to prison... You get found out you're in prison for the wrong reason, that you'd come out and you would get a cheque and a big apology. It's not been anything like that, has it?
No. I've had an apology, but the check. We've been fighting it for 5 years, and for 5 years they were like, well, we're not going to give you compensation because we still think you might have done it.
Is that really what the implication they've made?
Yeah, we've got letters indoors saying that we're not giving you compensation because in our eyes we still think you might have done this crime.
Even though the conviction was overturned and you were found not guilty?
Even though the conviction was overturned, yep.
How does that make you feel?
It's horrible. I've been proven innocent. Now you're telling me you still might think I've done it. How do you deal with that?
It's a horrific story. And I can't even begin to imagine what you feel like. You lose your girlfriend in a horrific crime. You get blamed for it. You get arrested. You get sent to prison. As this story was progressing, how were you feeling?
That was horrible. The first year, 2 years, it was horrible in jail. I'd say I turned to drugs and just to get an escape route, just to put me not where I was at the time.
When the police arrested you for the murder, what did you think?
I was just in shock that they arrested me and was questioning me for 2 or 3 days, and I was thinking that I never done this crime. I'm telling you the truth and you just don't seem to believe a word I say.
And that just must have been so frustrating. You're sat there telling the truth and all the coppers going, yeah, OK, son, now come and tell us the real truth.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's how it felt like. They felt like they put me in the middle and just built the case around me. Not built the case and went, well, this is the evidence, it proves that it was you. They've just got me and said, right, it was you, let's build the case around it so it suits you.
Were you constantly thinking all the way through the arrest, all the way through the court case, when you started going to prison, were you thinking at some point someone is going to stand up and say, no, hang on a second, we've got the wrong fella?
Yep. All through my jail time, I thought they were going to come to my cell. Oh, come on, Barry, look, you're free to go. We found out you're innocent, you can go now.
What was prison like for you?
Oh, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible place. Hated every minute of it.
You say you turned to drugs. This was in prison, was it? What drugs were you taking and how did they help?
Anything I can get my hands on, like prescription, illegal, anything. And it gave me an escape route. It made me not think of where I was. It took me from where I was at the time.
All the time this is going on, how are your family treating you? Did they know you were innocent or did they have suspicions? What were they thinking?
No, all my family knew I was innocent. Every single one of them. They all straight away knew I was innocent. All my friends, because they knew what sort of person I actually was. Like, where the police and the media portrayed me as this horrible person, all my family and friends knew I wasn't that person that I'm being portrayed in the media. Or by the police.
Well, that was Barry White speaking to me. We'll have the second part of that interview a bit later on. 08459 455 555.
Here we are in a room full of strangers. I'm standing in the dark where your eyes couldn't see.
I do. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. What are you doing in here?
I've got something to tell you in a bit. Something serious to tell you in a bit, but I just thought I'd...
Yeah, but that's 5 minutes away.
I know, but I like Candy Stanton. What can I tell you?
OK, so we're going to be sat here for the next... You're going to sit here and watch The Master at Work.
Yeah, go on.
There's Catherine Boyle, by the way. You probably don't remember her what do they call it? A voice. Because you've been on holiday.
No, I've been away for 5 days.
And then... So when's your next holiday? Thursday. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but, you know... A little bit of a good thing.
A little bit of a good thing. Well, it's nice to have you back for 3 days.
Yeah, but then I'm back constantly. You'll be sick of me by then.
Now, so 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. It is a little bit partridge, but there is a story in one of the newspapers. It's over there. The Queen's... keep quiet.
I'm being that man off Partridge that goes, yeah.
No, well, don't.
Okay.
The Queen makes special... The Queen gives her corgis her special gravy. Now... That's no use, Catherine. How is that helping anything apart from possibly getting us court-martialed? So we are sending Justin Dealey out. Is it dark in here?
Yeah.
I think something's happened. Either the lights are not working. That would be it. So we're sending Justin Dealey out around Beds, Herts and Bucks, Luton, to find out what treats. Let's be honest. To find out what treats you give your pets. Now, I don't give my cat treats anymore. I used to buy her Christmas presents and would wrap them up. And then, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I thought, that's a really stupid thing to do.
My sister's cat still gets an advent calendar. An advent calendar.
That flipping rabbit keeps escaping.
It's because you're not treating him enough.
He's
been talking to Velvet.
I don't think they won't talk to each other. I tried to initiate contact between Benjamin Bunny and Velvet the cat at the weekend. It's like, Velvet, come and have a look at the rabbit.
Velvet would be right up for that, wouldn't she?
They were having none of it. They wouldn't even look at each other. I think they have had words at some point. I think there has been some form of tension between the two pets, and they're like, please don't make us talk to each other.
She's quite posh, and he's from Luton, isn't he? Is it a clash of worlds?
It could be a class war going on in my pet... menagerie is a microcosm of society in all its classness.
They'll realise that they're really the same.
Yeah, and then they'll rise up against me and kill me. I think that's how it works in Animal Farm. I'm not totally sure, as I've never read it. I've only seen the film, the cartoon. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. This is BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the latest travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. So far today, things have been looking reasonably good on the roads of the three counties. It's not been a bad start out there for the M25. Things are moving well through the roadworks section, and no delays that I can see on any of the other main routes either. So if you're heading for the A1M or for the M1, even the M40 through the roadworks section at Junction 7, Tame is still looking good. Works in Little Chalfont. The A404 westbound has some temporary lights for gas main work between Loudhams Road and St Nicholas Close. And of course works on the Fenny Stratford bypass, the A5. There's a lane closed off for junction improvement works as you come down to the junction with the A4146. That's at the McDonald's roundabout. Can get very busy at times. Trains and tubes running well. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Adam. Right, it's 6:16. It's Monday, the 16th of September. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Surgery Centre in Stevenage is back under NHS control following a number of deaths after routine surgery. Barry White, who wrongly spent 6 years in prison for the murder of Rachel Manning in Milton Keynes, is making another claim for compensation. The weather today will be cool with blustery showers. Coming up, we'll bring you more on the Surgery Centre in Stevenage. I know, really, it doesn't get much better than this, and for that, I can only apologise.
BBC Three Counties Radio. If you've got a problem with a company, a council or an organisation...
They were really, really unhelpful. They laughed at me.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
We have been back 11 visits, each time because of the problems my husband's been having.
Since the beginning of June, I've had no schedule freezer.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
Gentleman then agreed to refund me my money. As of yet, he's resold the vehicle and still no refund.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9, BBC Three Counties Radio.
They say that you're a runaround lover. so. But if you put me down for another, I'll know, believe me, I'll know. 'Cause a night has 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 eyes can't help but see if you are true to me. So remember when you tell those little white lies that the night has 1,000 eyes. You say that you're at home when you phone me, and how much you really care. Though you keep telling me that you're lonely, I'll know if someone is there. 'Cause a night has 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 eyes can't help but see if you are true to me. So remember when you tell those little white lies that the night has 1,000 eyes. One of these days you're gonna be sorry, 'cause your game I'm gonna play, and you find out without really trying each time that my geese astray. 'Cause a night has 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 eyes will see me true. And no matter what I do, I could never disguise all my little white lies. 'Cause the night has 1,000 eyes. So remember when you tell those little white lies that the night has 1,000 eyes.
There's a terrifying image, if ever there was one. A night literally having 1,000 eyes. The NHS has taken control of the Stevenage Surgery Centre where 3 patients died after routine surgery. The clinic was run by a private company at the time of those deaths. It's now been bought by the Department of Health for £53 million. Well, our reporter Catherine Boyle joins me in the studio. Catherine, what's the background to this story?
Well, the clinic only opened 2 years ago, and it provides routine surgery in areas like ear, nose and throat, trauma, orthopaedics, gynaecology, ophthalmology. For NHS patients who are referred there, it's, as you said, it's run by was run privately. Now, back in March, we told you that the health regulator, the Care Quality Commission, was taking action against the clinic, which was being run by a company called Clinicenta, which was part of the building firm Carillion. In April last year, the CQC inspectors failed the centre in 4 out of 5 areas, and the following August, GPs were told not to refer patients to the eye department because of worrying waiting times, with some patients waiting up to a year.
Wow.
3 people undergoing routine surgery for joint conditions then died unexpectedly during routine procedures, which sparked an investigation by Hertfordshire NHS and the CQC. And in January 2012, it was established that 8,500 patient records had been lost. So it's really sort of a catalogue of things.
That's incredible. And in May, it had its licence taken away, didn't it?
Yeah, the CQC issued a notice of suspension on the 16th of May. Carillion then had 28 days to appeal. And at the time, the company refused to confirm whether or not it was appealing against the suspension, and gave us a statement saying, "We have no reason to believe that we will not be continuing to provide services for patients at the Clinicenta for the foreseeable future. We can assure the local community that all our staff at Clinicenta remain committed to delivering the very highest levels of care for patients, and that we're working hard to meet the CQC's requirements."
Even then, though, the future for the clinic staying in private hands didn't look positive, did it?
And Stevenage MP Stephen McPartland's consistently repeated his calls for the failing, as he calls it, and of Surgery Centre, and asking for it to be returned to NHS control. He's told us in the past that it's not up to the job of providing the best possible healthcare for patients and his constituents, and Carillion should have its licence suspended. Now, those calls were echoed by Michael Mancy from Hitchin. You remember this story because Michael spoke to us a number of times, telling us about the death of his sister Anita. She died 3 days after a knee replacement operation at the Surgery Centre, and Mr. Mancy was angry that he'd not been told about an investigation into her death. He was told that she'd had a heart attack, and Mr. Mancy told us at the time, I think it's most strange because she had an ECG before the operation to make sure her heart was okay. He told us there are so many things unexplained. I'm very suspicious.
And so after all this, the NHS is bringing the clinic under its control.
Yeah, hospital operators, Carillion said the transfer was by mutual agreement. NHS Central Eastern Commissioning Support Unit said the decision to transfer services was an agreement between the Department of Health, East and North Hertfordshire Clinical Commissioning Group, NHS England and Clinicentre. So that's the mutualness, or mutuality. They also told us there'll be no break in service during this transfer, and patients who are currently receiving treatment at surgery centres should continue to attend their appointments as usual. The NHS says its priority is to ensure patient care is not affected. Carillion unfortunately won't comment on losing the contract, but in a statement confirmed that the agreement had been made. And their managing director Mike Hobbs said there'll be no break in service provision, and the NHS will retain the Lister Surgery Centre buildings and equipment for continued use.
I do find it odd that Carillion is a building firm, and I know firms, have different kind of sections and things, but it seems odd that a clinic centre, a surgery centre at the hospital, a doctor, whatever, was part owned or owned by a building firm.
It just shows how far these companies reach out, I suppose.
Very strange. Catherine Boyle, thank you very much. 08459 455 555.
Get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl. With all the charms of a woman, you've kept the secret of your youth. You led me to believe you're old enough to give me love, and now it hurts to know the truth. Whoa, young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl. Your perfume and makeup, you're just a baby in disguise. And though you know that it's wrong to be alone with me, that come on look is in your eyes. Whoa, young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, So hurry home to your mama. I'm sure she wonders where you are. Get out of here before I have the time to change my mind, 'cause I'm afraid we'll go too far. Whoa, young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl. Young girl, get out of my mind.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Despite the evidence, that gentleman is not on the list, so good for him. Well done, Gary Puckett. And his Union Gap. I wonder what that refers to. If you want to give us a call this morning, you can do 08459 455 555. You can go to the Facebook page. We'll put something of interest up there at some point. What it'll be yet, I just don't know. But facebook.com/BBC3CR. And of course, should you so wish, you can send me an email. I think my emails are working now. We struggled with them last week. There's a lot of struggle. I say struggle. I clicked on it. It wouldn't open. I went, never mind. I'm enjoying life, by the way, with my not-so-smartphone, my Nokia Brick. I indulged in a game of Snake at the weekend. Snake 2, actually, the sequel. I got up to 78 points, and I thought, this is really boring. So I've got the brick. It doesn't take emails. It has no access to the internet. I'm loving it. Everyone should do it. Does phone calls, and it receives texts. It sends texts, but it's so hard to type because you have to do the C, E. You have to keep tapping and tapping to get the letters. I don't even bother sending texts. I've started using text speak as well. I know. Everyone should downgrade. It's made my life feel so much better. I'm more present in the moment. Who'd have thunk it? And here's the rub. I only have to charge my phone once every 3 days, something like that. Think of the how I'm saving the environment. Hey, what happened to the hole in the ozone layer? Do you remember the hole in the ozone layer? That was big news. So big, in fact, I was listening to a Beach Boys song from the early 90s. When what was the line there was a line they sang about an ozone layer. What was it? It's a really fantastic rhyme. We're gonna looked in the future, and what I saw was a world in harmony with natural law. Oh no, that's not it. It'll come to me. It's a cracking line about the ozone layer, sung by the Beach Boys. I'll give it to you after the latest travel news with Adam.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much, Ian. Things looking at least nice and quiet on the roads this morning. No delays that I can see on the cameras. M25, slightly busy going into the roadwork section, but that's not a big surprise, really. As you go past Chesington Enfield at junction 25 is where the speed sensors are starting to pick up some very short delays, but no trouble anywhere else through the three counties. We're looking okay in Bedford. No delays yet in and around Milton Keynes or on the roadworks at the A5, A4146 junction. M1 past Luton is clear on the cameras. If you're travelling by train, it's a good morning for you as well, because the departure boards are not currently showing any delays. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Way back when our master plan was having fun as America's band, we came out rocking with Rhonda and Barbara Ann singing of surf and sand. Here it comes. Now, when we look back over all the fun we had, if our lifestyle's over now, it sure is sad. We got to get back to living without a care. Give me sunshine, water and an ozone layer. Beach Boys!
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headline: security firm Serco has dismissed 3 employees at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. It follows a report in the Observer newspaper alleging that women there have been subjected to unwanted sexual advances. People who commit benefit fraud could face longer prison sentences under new guidelines published today. The changes mean some offenders could be jailed for up to 10 years. The controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage is back under NHS control this morning. Doctors have refused to refer patients to the privately run centre since May, following the deaths of 3 patients after routine surgery. And an innocent man who spent years in prison for the murder of his girlfriend in Milton Keynes has submitted another claim for compensation. Barry White was wrongly jailed for the murder of 19-year-old Rachel Manning over a decade ago. The weather will be cool today with blustery showers, top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Cristiano Ronaldo says he has no plans to return to Manchester United. He signed a new contract that will keep him at Real Madrid until 2018. Ronaldo says he wants to finish his career in Spain.
Manchester, it's the past. Now my club, it's the present, it's Real Madrid. Now this is my home. My family, it's here. And I'm really happy here. The clubs who knock the door to ask something about me, but they always know that my only goal is always to be here and to play in this club for maybe until the end of my career.
In the Premier League yesterday, Southampton and West Ham drew 0-0 at St Mary's. Luke Chadwick, Sean Williams and Patrick Bamford helped secure a 3-1 victory for MK Dons against Notts County on Saturday. Goal scorer Sean Williams is focusing on his own team's efforts.
I think we're just taking each game as it comes. We're not worrying about other teams' results and how they're doing. We're just worried about our own performances and making sure we can get as many points on the board as possible and Peterborough's up next, so we'll focus our attention on them when we come back in training.
And in tennis, the Wimbledon champion Andy Murray says he will play in Great Britain's Davis Cup World Group tie in February. Murray won both of his singles matches and was part of the doubles team which saw Britain win their playoff tie against Croatia. And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport, with more at 7 o'clock.
So, Lee, Davis Cup's not golf then?
Not this week.
Is it ever golf? I'm talking to the wrong person, aren't I?
Yeah, you are really, aren't you?
Thanks very much.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Not one person in the building knows anything about sport. 08459 455 555. Coming up in a little bit, we'll find out the latest about Yarlswood Detention Centre. It's been in the papers this weekend, but before that, Phil's in Wickham. Good morning, Phil.
Hi, Ian. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. There's a light bulb has gone in this studio, which is making everything look a little bit darker, and it's kind of... it's making me sad, as in seasonal affective disorder.
Oh, well, I'm blind anyway, so don't bother me. I've got my lights off my flat anyway.
Look at you showing off your blind so-and-so. Oh, you see? You've got one up on me.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, don't worry, the electric bills are low anyway.
Hang on a second. Did you say, yeah it's good?
Yeah.
Not often you hear many blind people saying, yeah, it's good, actually.
Oh, all right.
Phil, what have you called in for? What can I do for you?
Yeah, I've just heard about your phones.
Oh, yes. I've downgraded to a not-so-smartphone.
Yeah, well, what I do, I've got an iPhone 5 for the internet.
Yeah.
And I take it out and about because I've got unlimited internet with that. But what I tend to find is it eats the battery so much you can't do everything on it.
On the iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible,
ridiculous.
yes.
Yeah, so what I've done, I've got a Nokia, I don't know if I can plug it or not, it's got a QWERTY keyboard on it.
Right. Yeah.
It's fantastic, so you'd have to keep tapping all the time. You just got like a QWERTY keyboard. It's got a 12 or 13 hour talk time. And all I can do is get me texts, I can talk on it, and do emails, and that's it.
Do you work in a phone shop or something? Because you're selling. It sounds like you're selling me a very smart package there.
Well, yeah, I can tell you the name of it if you want it.
No, listen, I'm happy with my brick. All my brick does, phone calls and texts. That's it.
Well, yeah, but this what this does as well. I mean, I've always had phones on my life and messed about with them, but this is perfect because
I've had phones on my life.
Everything with it. You know, with the smartphones, you just can't do everything on it. It burns the battery too much, you know?
Phil, thank you very much. I appreciate your interest. Phil said an interesting thing there. Texts. It's text, but more and more people... I should have asked him about that. More and more people are saying texts. Strange, isn't it? 08459 455 555. Bit of Lulu. Yeah.
Of telling tales and biting nails are gone, but in my mind
little bit of Lulu. I once interviewed Lulu, and she was delightful. And then after the show, there were lots of gentlemen, including me, sat around her feet as she regaled us of stories of rock and roll excess. And I think she might have talked about Morris B.G. as well. I think she might have done. I don't know. Anyway, Catherine Bowles here. Catherine, look, we should probably have a little look through the newspapers.
Let's have a look through the newspapers.
Can I have one of the newspapers?
Yeah.
The Daily Express are still banging on about how Princess Diana was murdered. I know the truth about Diana. She was being driven by a drunk Frenchman who was going too fast and she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. But no, the Daily Express...
That is a dodgy tunnel.
It's a very dodgy tunnel. The Daily Express is still banging on. SAS ordered to kill Diana. Police under renewed pressure to open full murder investigation. Who's putting that pressure on? It's the Daily Express. Princess Diana was murdered in a job carried out to order, the SAS soldier behind the claim told his wife. All of this stuff has come from the wife of a guy who was in the SAS. They had one argument, and he went, yeah, and another thing, I was part of the team that killed Princess Diana. Oh, so she wrote a letter to the army, and they went, who's this crackpot? She then sent it to the Daily Express. They went, oh, let's do 3 weeks' worth of front pages out of this. His description of a clinical mission adds to the growing evidence. Her death in a car crash was not an accident, and it will heap further pressure, no it won't, on the Metropolitan Police to fully reopen the case. The latest extraordinary details of the alleged plot have been recounted by the ex-wife of former SAS sniper Soldier M. We're not allowed to know his name, because we'll all point at him in the street and go, ha, fantasist. She has said... this is the wife. He told her he knew all along that his colleagues were responsible for his death, but the soldier sought to justify it to her by saying, it's an order. A job's a job. Bonkers.
SAS soldiers renowned for their trappiness as well. They tell all their secrets, don't they?
Don't they just? I do like a good conspiracy theory, though. I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories.
That's not one.
No, that's just a bloke who said something.
Or may or may not have said something.
Who knows? So, well, it's Soldier M. I don't think we can libel a letter, can we? What have you found, Catherine?
Daily Mail. Criminals on bail commit 1 in 7 murders. Smaller words, and they carry out 2 rapes a week.
I'm not.
Shouldn't.
I'm not laughing at the crimes. I'm laughing
at the way they phrase things. 1 in 7 murders in Britain's committed by suspects freed on bail while awaiting trial for other crimes, according to disturbing new figures, says the Mail.
The Mail has got... If you open the Mail, because there's a wonderful picture... describe what you see there of that tiny young 12-year-old boy and his mum.
Oh, you mean Mick Jagger?
It's a brilliant... Don't buy it, but go into your local newsagents or indeed petrol station, open up the Mail and look at page 3.
Is it still okay to laugh at men who are just slightly shorter than their girlfriend?
Oh, it's probably not.
Well...
But he's 76 and she's 42 or something. And he looks about 12 there.
I'm not sure I could go out with a shorter man, regardless of whether it was the legend that is Mick Jagger. Especially if it was Mick Jagger.
You're quite a tall lady.
I think I'm average, aren't I? 5'6".
You're taller than 5. Look,
I've got
you up
on.
and down then, like
I've
the 70s.
I've got heels on, I just have some stature.
Oh, so OK, well that's quite small then.
Well, it's about average.
How tall is your gentleman friend?
Not much. My gentleman, my husband.
Oh, sorry.
He's not my friend.
I was talking about the other guy, but go on. Your husband, how tall is he?
He's about 5'11".
So a wee fella.
He's not... Yeah, I have to be careful what shoes I put on.
Oh, wow.
But he's handsome.
He's a good-looking man.
I
went out with a girl who was taller than me once. Oh, it was like,
how does that happen? Was she a giantess?
Yeah, it was like hugging a bear. It was horrible. It was. As soon as she put her arse, I thought, oh dear, no, this is going to have to stop.
Did you put a heel ban on her?
Oh, sorry. Did I what?
Slap a heel ban on her.
I didn't slap anybody, Catherine Boyle. I'll have none of it. What have the other papers got?
Right, hang on, let's have a look at the other papers. The Independent's got a picture of Paloma Faith wearing tights. Shorts, which is apparently all right.
What's she banging on about
Sheen
now?
Fabric tights. She's not saying anything. She's just been looked at a fashion show.
She's got very big gums, Paloma Faith.
And a lot of talent.
Hey, you've skipped past the Arctic Monkey. Now, he's been in the papers this weekend because apparently him and Susanna Reid, the hottie...
Right.
From News, they were flirting during an interview.
Did you see flirting? I saw someone being really uncomfortable.
Who was uncomfortable?
She was, because she'd obviously been given this list of questions to ask someone. She didn't really know what they did.
Yeah.
And she was given some very uncool questions to ask.
Right.
And he seemed to have got her sussed. That's what I saw. I didn't see any simmering sexual tensions.
Oh, because the photograph they showed, it was her patting her hair, which, as we all know...
How dare she?
Well, that's a come on, isn't it? That's basically saying, shall we?
I don't think that's permissible in a court of law.
Right, OK, good. I'll bear that in mind.
Just before we go there.
So who's stolen my son? Someone's stolen my son. Not my child, but my actual newspaper son.
Did you not bring it down? Is it in the loo?
I bet Dealey's got it.
I bet it is.
I bet Dealey's got it.
Again,
You're
I
right.
ask you, it's in the loo.
In the loo. Who would... It's always worrying when you're at someone's house and you see a newspaper in the loo.
I found a newspaper in the loo here once, and the crossword was half done.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to get too toilet based, but I'm in and out. I haven't got time for reading, for literature or anything.
Although I must admit that now I'm a mum, I do spend a little bit extra time in there sometimes. I'm not actually doing anything in there, I'm just having a bit of peace, a bit of space.
Do you have any books in the loo?
No.
Because people do, don't they? People have
I sometimes take a handheld device in there.
Oh, you mean like a phone or something? Well,
that's kind of wrong, isn't it?
Let's put this out there.
I wash my hands first.
Let's put this out there. You don't. Let's put this out there. Maybe Justin can speak to some people on this. Do you have books in your loo? Because I'm always. It's strange, isn't it, when you go into someone's toilet and they've got like a little library there for you.
And they're usually those comedy books that other people buy for you.
Oh, for goodness sakes! Awful.
You got me one of those once.
What did I buy?
One called something London.
But that's not a comedy book. That's a good book. Hang on a second. That's SH something T London is a brilliant book, and I didn't buy it to you. I got sent it for free.
It's been in your toilet. And then
yes, it has. But are you saying you didn't like that present?
No, I did, but that's the sort of book you get in people's toilets.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite bit?
That sweary bit.
All right, let's do books in toilets. Does anybody? Where are you going?
Oh, can I not go now?
No. 084. Do this one of the serious papers to justify this. 08459 455 555. Is there anybody listening to this who still keeps books in toilets? When I was a youngster, my granddad was Scottish. He used to keep Oor Willie. Do you remember Oor Willie?
Yes.
They used to keep. I'm not doing that.
The Bruins.
The Bruins. Oor Willie.
I think you have to be Scottish to get that.
Yeah, I couldn't understand a word of it, but that was in the toilet, and I used to enjoy reading that. 08459 455 555. Does anybody keep books?
Andy Cap. That's what my grandparents had.
Andy Cap. Again, that wasn't funny, was it?
I didn't really get it.
Quick look at one of the serious newspapers.
This is quite an interesting one. Sheila Hancock says she burned all her diaries to spare her family. After she wrote the book about her late husband, John Thor.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't want to hurt her family with the raw and angry emotions she felt at the time, so she's burnt her diaries.
Why would you even bother writing a diary? No one writes diaries.
Some people write them to get the feelings out, don't they? You know, sometimes if you want to remember something, you can't stop thinking about it, you put it on a piece of paper, it's gone. Or you can do the same with...
Have you seen the advert for ITV Drama that's got John Thor in it?
Yes.
Oh, I don't like that. It makes me very uncomfortable. Not that uncomfortable. It made me go, ooh. On that bombshell. Thanks, Catherine. Do you want to go and do some work?
Yeah, go on.
Ta-ra. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Do people still keep books, little libraries in their toilet? I always find it strange. The only time I've ever read The Economist or The New Statesman was in a toilet. I know. Right, it's 6:45. Let's get the travel news now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to get very slow on the M25. There's heavy traffic anti-clockwise going into the roadworks from Waltham Abbey through the Holmesdale Tunnel toward Junction 25 at Enfield and beyond, indeed off toward Potter's Bar at Junction 24. As you continue round, heavy from the M1 to Chorley Wood, Junction 21 through to 18, and also slow from Maple Cross to the M4, Junction 17 to 15. Routes into London starting to get slow as well. We're not doing too badly on the A10 through Enfield at the minute, but the A1 is definitely looking busy in Mill Hill on the cameras around Apex Corner down toward Mill Hill Circus. Roadworks ongoing in Beaconsfield, Dorney Hill, the A355. Temporary lights are up between Burnham Road and Hare Hatch Lane near Dorney Bottom. Things may slow down through the morning around there. M40 and M1 still doing fine on the cameras as far as I can see. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 6:46. It's Monday the 16th September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 6:45. Security firm Serco has dismissed 3 workers at Yarlswood Immigration Centre after complaints of unwanted sexual advances. The Surgery Centre in Stevenage is back under NHS control after critical reports about the company that ran it. And Barry White, who wrongly spent 6 years in prison for the murder of Rachel Manning in Milton Keynes, is making another claim for compensation. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather now with Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello. Hello, a very good morning to you. It is a rather chilly start to the day and it's still pretty windy outside as well. We are going to see some showers a bit later on through the morning and into the afternoon, but to start with it's nice and bright and there's plenty of sunshine out there. The temperatures are going to climb through the morning, but it's still going to feel unseasonably cool, I'm afraid. We're only looking at highs of up to 14, perhaps just 15 degrees Celsius in Luton and Milton Keynes and Stevenage too. That's just 59 in Fahrenheit, so temperatures rather disappointing for the time of year. Now, in terms of wet weather, there will be some showers around. They're going to blow along quite nicely in that wind, so they'll be there 1 minute and gone pretty much the next. Some of them could be quite heavy in nature though, so something to watch out for. Lots of spells of brightness in between. Into this evening, the showers will fade away. A dry night, still quite windy overnight tonight. Temperatures dropping to a rather chilly 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. It'll be quite a cloudy start to the day tomorrow, and quite quickly we'll see some outbreaks of light and patchy rain. That will be quite heavy through the course of the afternoon too. So some wet weather around tomorrow, generally quite cool and unsettled for the rest of the working week at least. That's the forecast.
Your mouth is a revolver, find bullets in the sky. Your love is like a soldier, loyal till you die. And I've been looking at the stars for a long, long time. I've been putting out fires all my life. Everybody wants a flame, they don't want to get burned. And today is our turn. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You light the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much. Just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. This world is getting colder, strangers passing by. No one offers you a shoulder, no one looks you in the eye. But I've been looking at you for a long, long time, just trying to break through, trying to make you mine. Everybody wants a flame, they don't want to get burned. Well, today is our turn. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You light the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much. Just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. Our bonfire hearts. You light the spark. People like us, we don't need that much. Just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You light the spark in my bonfire heart.
Good to see James Blunt back to his fine form that he's famous for.
People like us, we don't need that much. Just someone.
He was a soldier, wasn't he? Yes.
Starts the spark in our bonfire heart.
And now he's making excellent music. Good for him. Well done. Books in the loo, I know. I can't believe we used to do it. Everyone used to do it, didn't they? Little books in the loo, something for you to read. I don't think people do it anymore. Maff in Hanslope, you don't do it anymore, do you?
Oh, I have a Sudoku book.
Sorry?
I have a Sudoku book, Ian.
Oh, for goodness sakes, you've two birds, one stone. So not only is it a book, it's a blooming Sudoku book.
Very annoying if someone nicks a pen.
So what, you sit there, let's not go into too much detail, doing your business, and then you're doing little maths problems at the same time?
Oh, yes.
Why?
Sanctuary.
It's what?
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. But
it's the only time you get to yourself.
But it's not a particularly, it's a functional time though, Maff. In and out, in and out.
Not if you time it well, Ian. Not if you time it well.
Thank you very much indeed, Maff and Hanslope. I don't want to get too lavatorial about this, although by the very nature of talking about lavatories, we will be somewhat lavatorial. But books in your loo, 08459 455 555. On a slightly more serious issue, 3 members of staff have been sacked amid allegations of sexual abuse at the Yarlswood Detention Centre. A former resident of the Bedfordshire facility claims that women held there have been targeted by officers. Yarlswood's operators, Serco, have confirmed the 3 dismissals relate to a complaint raised in 2012. Well, Heather Jones is from the Yarlswood Befrienders. Heather, this is an incredibly shocking case, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What exactly, what do we think has been going on?
Well, women who are detained are extremely vulnerable. They're very isolated. It's a very secure custodial environment. There are, however well the place is managed, there are opportunities for abuse. So it's a very... Women there are always scared. There's obviously an issue with consent. How consensual can any sort of relationship be?
Because there have been claims, haven't there, that these relationships, or many of them, have been consensual.
How consensual can it be if one of those is not free? A consensual relationship is between 2 consenting adults, freely entered into. When one of those isn't free, how can that be consensual?
Have you heard stories like this, Heather, or is this the first you heard about it at the weekend?
No, I have heard stories about it.
And how far back have these stories dated?
There are often rumours, but we have rarely come across people who have actually been made accusations themselves. But there are rumours.
And did you refer these rumours, to your seniors or to anybody who might be able to act on them?
It's a little difficult to refer a rumour to anyone. Without facts, you can't really do very much.
But you could. It could have been mentioned, couldn't it? Oh, by the way, have you heard such and such as reckons this has been going on? Have you heard anything? Did you do anything like that?
You need something specific to go on. That somebody might be having a relationship with an officer is not much to go on, is it?
What do you think of the response from the Home Office and Serco?
I think it's what I would expect. They're not going to be particularly forthcoming. They won't want to discuss it in any detail. Of course, in these circumstances, it wouldn't be right to discuss it in any detail.
What would you like to see happen, Heather, at Yarlswood to prevent this sort of thing happening again?
Too many women are detained for too long periods. What the Home Office says is that it should be people are treated with dignity and respect, and that's what needs to happen, because it isn't what we see.
Heather, thank you very much. Heather Jones from Yarlswood Befrienders. We've received a statement from Serco. John Tollan, the director at Yarlswood, said that they refute the allegations made. There is an environment at Yarlswood where sexual intimidation or inappropriate behaviour are in any way tolerated.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey up, Dennis.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. How is Dunstable on this fine morning?
It's a bright blue sky and lights reflecting off windows opposite and nearly blinding me.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
so it's,
everything
might be a nice day.
Everything's got to be a little bit moany with you, isn't it? You can't just appreciate the beauty of this wonderful
I'm not
morning.
moaning. I think it's gorgeous.
Okay, what have you called in about, sir?
Toilet books.
Yes.
I've got a book, American book it is, called The Specialist, and it's about a man who designs and makes earth toilets out in the sticks in America, and it's a damn funny book.
I think you've misunderstood that the phone-in is about books that you have in your toilet, not books about toilets.
No, but this is even better than that.
Is it kept in your...
sit and read that, and he'd nearly fall off the toilet.
Yeah. Do you keep this book in your toilet?
No, I don't.
Right, but again, Dennis, I can't allow this.
I'm sorry.
You've missed the phone-in. Let me just clarify for anybody listening who is unsure about this. I've got to get this accurate. The phone-in is specifically about books you keep in the toilet, not books about the toilet.
Well, the toilet is a contemplation place. You don't need books to go in there
Thank you. It was not necessarily contemplation, but yes, exactly. But some people do keep books in their toilet.
Yes, I know. Poor souls.
Yes. So, can you understand? Well, I've got to be cruel to be kind, to quote Nick Lowe.
Quite. I can understand that perfectly.
I cannot allow your book into the hall of toilets.
I don't want to stir you up.
Would you do me a great favour, Dennis?
Yes, shut up.
No. For once, I'm going to ask you to carry on speaking. Would you apologise to the listeners for wasting their time?
Listeners, I'm not wasting your time.
No.
Go and get this book. You'll die laughing.
No.
You'll never go in the toilet again.
No. Goodbye, Dennis.
Bye-bye.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Traffic starting to slow up on the M1 southbound from the Luton Airport Spur, junction 10, down toward Redbourne, the A5 at junction 9. Also starting to slow on the A1M southbound past Hitchin and Stevenage, junctions 8 and 7. If you're going into London on the A1, Stirling corner to Mill Hill Circus, it looks like there's queues on the cameras around there. M25 anti-clockwise into the roadworks section, busy from back at the M11 in Essex now, junction 27 through to 25 at Enfield. Then once you're through the works, if you're going further round from the M1 to Chorley Wood, junction 21 to 18 looks like a fair old queue, and from junction 17 to Maple Cross round to 15 at the M4 you're going to find that pretty slow going as well. Trains and tubes though have been running well so far this morning. First Capital Connect have 10-minute delays to the south of London Bridge to Gatwick Airport because of passenger illness, but everything to the north through the Three Counties running well. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Adam. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Coming up, we'll have the second part of my exclusive interview with Barry White while he tells me what life has been like since he was cleared of all charges of murder. We'll have that after the news.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headline: staff sacked at Yarlswood Detention Centre, longest sentences for benefit fraud, and the Lister Surgery Centre back in the hands of the NHS.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Security firm Serco has dismissed 3 employees at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. It follows a report in the Observer newspaper alleging that women there have been subjected to unwanted sexual advances. Ewan Duncan reports.
Serco, which runs the Yarlswood site, says in a statement it dismissed 3 members of staff following an investigation last year. The company says the police were kept informed after a complaint of sexually inappropriate behaviour between staff and a resident was brought to its attention. But Serco's director, John Tolland, said the firm refutes allegations that there's an environment at Yarlswood where sexual intimidation or inappropriate behaviour is in any way tolerated. He said there are strict procedures for dealing with any such complaints and they are always fully investigated.
Detectives are trying to find 4 men who were seen close to where a teenager was murdered in Luton. A 43-year-old man has now been released on police bail. Detective Chief Inspector Sean Basra is from Bedfordshire Police.
Post-mortem report suggests that the cause of death was a single stab wound to the chest. I know there was a lot of pedestrian traffic in and around the area at that time. I'm particularly interested in a group of 4 males that were seen in an alleyway in Hastings Street going into Elizabeth Street.
People who commit benefit fraud could get 10 years in prison. New guidelines published today will help prosecutors deal more effectively with people cheating the system. GPs have started referring patients back to the controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage. From this week, the centre is back under NHS control. Tony Fisher reports.
4 months ago, the Care Quality Commission said the licence of the privately run centre should be suspended, and many doctors in Hertfordshire stopped sending patients there. It followed the deaths of 3 patients after routine surgery and the loss of thousands of patient records. The NHS has now paid £53 million to buy it back from Clinicenta and carry out surgical operations themselves.
An innocent man who spent years in prison for the murder of his girlfriend in Milton Keynes has submitted another claim for compensation. Barry White was wrongly jailed for the murder of 19-year-old Rachel Manning over a decade ago. Earlier this month, another man was found guilty of the crime. Barry has told Iain Lee that it's not up to him how much compensation he gets.
What price can you put on 13 years? That's not up to me to decide. That's up for their solicitors and the government to decide how much I get.
In sport, Andy Murray has helped guide Great Britain back into the elite group of tennis, and Cristiano Ronaldo won't be returning to Man United after signing a new deal with Real Madrid. The weather for Beds, Herts and Bucks will be cool today with blustery showers. Top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. I've hurt my back by lifting a toilet seat. There's a toilet theme running through the show today. You can tell Catherine Boyle's producing. I'm being very brave about it, though. I'm being very brave, despite the fact I'm in agony. I'm certainly in discomfort. I'm being very brave and not banging on about it too much at all. Lots coming up between now and 8 o'clock, including the second part of my interview with Milton Keynes man Barry White, who served 6 years for a murder he didn't commit. The Queen's got her special gravy. Do your dogs like a special treat? And toilet books, an 80s phenomenon, but does anyone still do them now? 08459 455 555.
Across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm also, Lee mentioned earlier, this front page of the Times, 10-year jail term for benefit fraudsters. We should get Justin Dealey. Where is Justin Dealey? Is he going to come on the show this morning? We've heard nothing from Dealey. What is this? He's working part-time or something? Dealey, where on earth? Get him on the phone now. Phone him up. Get him on the phone now. I want to find out exactly what's going on with him. I mean, not that the show was lacking or in any way lightweight in the first hour because we didn't have Dealey on, but for goodness sakes, the man is paid very, very well out of your licence fee. He's barely dared to come on the radio. I wanted to go out and ask some people about this. 10-year jail term for benefit fraudsters, middle-class cheats targeted in new crackdown. Benefit cheats face increased jail terms of up to 10 years under an unprecedented crackdown on those who flout the system. Well, what do you think? Should you be sentenced for up to 10 years if you are a benefit fraudsters? Middle-class and professional cheats will be targeted as the offence is brought into line with crimes such as money laundering and banking fraud. Mr. Starmer, the Director of Public Prosecutions, it says it's time for a tough stance against the perpetrators of benefit and tax credit fraud, which cost Britain around £2 billion. It's a myth, he says, that getting one over on the system is a victimless crime. Well, what do you think? Should people who benefit fraudsters, should they go to prison for up to 10 years? 08459 455 555 is the telephone number, should you wish to give us a call. Justin Dealey's not even answering his telephone. Where on earth is he? Where on earth is this man? Justin, where on earth are you?
Hello, Iain, you all right?
What are you doing?
I'm out talking to dog owners. Morning, Shirley. He wants to get... Yeah, don't swear. Don't swear. Don't swear.
Who's that you're with?
No,
Right,
don't swear. Don't swear.
I don't think we heard that, so we just got away with it. But do give her a light. What's Shirley saying? And who is this Shirley?
No, I'm out and about this morning talking about dog treats that you sent me out on, about the Queen feeding the corgis gravy and fillet steak. So a lady has just come up to the car. I've got a course out in the mornings. We go out in a branded vehicle. Yeah. And she's seen that it says BBC Three Counties Radio.
She's a big fan of the show, is she?
Well, she's a fan of the radio station, but clearly not a fan of you. She says, tell him he needs to shut his... I think you can leave the rest to your imagination.
Well, can I speak to her?
Let me just drive over, 1 second.
Mind you don't bump into her.
No. Hold on a second. Right. Hold on.
How come it's taking you an hour as well to get a vox pop about dogs?
Well, because there's not many dog owners about. Hold on a second.
Dearie me.
You sure you want to speak to her?
Yeah, I'll speak to her. Just tell her to watch her tongue.
Okay. Shirley, I've got Ian on the phone right now. Yeah. We'll have a very quick chat with you, okay? Now, if I'm going to pop you through, you're not going to swear, are you?
No, I don't
okay.
swear.
I'm going to pop you through. This is Ian Lee, okay? That clearly you're a big fan of. Okay, I'll put you on the phone too now. Hold on.
Good morning, Shirley.
Hello.
Hello, Shirley. This is Ian Lee. You're live on BBC Three Counties Radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, listen. Let's. We've got a beef between us. Let's sort it out. What's your problem with me?
I don't like your attitude.
What's wrong with my attitude?
You talk about yourself a bit too much.
Okay. So, you don't find my showbiz lifestyle interesting?
No.
Okay. What would you like me to talk about more?
I don't know. I don't care.
But I want you, Shirley. I want you to care. I want you to care. I want to be able to start the show at 6 o'clock in the morning and know that Shirley's listening to me.
No, I'm sorry. I turn you down when you come on.
Now, do you turn me down or turn me off?
I don't know how to turn you off.
There we go. Well, that's
I've
something.
got a new car, you see, so I'm lumbered with you.
You can't... oh, bless you. You can't turn the radio off in your car?
I don't know how to. It's a new one.
Okay, all right.
And I don't like pressing buttons in case I mess it all up.
You don't want to mess it up. Okay, let's try and find out, who do you like on BBC Three Counties Radio? What about Jonathan Vernon Smith?
Yes, he's all right.
He talks about himself all the time, though.
No, he doesn't. He talks about his Pinot Grigio or whatever the blooming stuff is.
Okay, so you like JVS, he's good. What about Nick Coffer? Have you heard of Nick Coffer?
No, I don't listen to him.
Okay, okay.
Roberto... what's a Roberti Borelli, is it?
Roberti Borelli, yes.
Yeah, him. He's nice.
Do you like him? What about Chetan Partak?
No, don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him. What about Helen Lee at the weekends?
No.
What do you think about David...
I listen. The only time I've got my car radio on is when I am on my way up the park.
Right.
From 6:30 till 8 o'clock.
Right. So that's me. 6:30 to 8 o'clock is me.
I can't get away from you, can I? When you're on holiday, you'll have Justin on.
And let's ask you the question. What do you think about Justin Dealey?
Smashing.
Do you not think he's a bit cheesy?
No.
A bit old-fashioned?
No, if I was 50 years younger, it'd be my boy.
Are you Justin's mum?
No.
Okay.
I don't have that pleasure.
No. Well, Shirley, listen, I'm going to work on making this show so that you like it.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I'm going to dedicate the rest of the show to you, Shirley.
Oh, thank you very much.
And so that you own this show. If at any point between now and 9 o'clock you don't like what you're hearing, phone us up and tell us, and we'll change it immediately, I promise.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do for me.
Go on, Shirley.
Could I get a little bit more?
Yes.
Play El Martino Spanish Eyes.
I'm going to play it now. Are you
near? Even got it.
No. Are you near your radio?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just about to walk my dog.
Walk your dog. I'll be playing it while you walk your dog, Shirley.
Have you?
I'm going to play it.
Have you? Play it on the Saturday morning at 9:30.
We've lost her. Shirley, it's lovely to talk to you, and thank you for being a good sport, my love. Take care.
You bet to Justin.
Thank you. No, honestly, don't worry. Thank you, Shirley. Wasn't she delightful? One by one, I'll get them. One by one. Has she got a radar diary? No, not bothered. Right, OK. 08459 455 555. Now it's time for the second part of my interview with Barry White. The conviction of Bletchley man Shahid Al-Ahmed for the murder of Rachel Manning has strengthened the case for compensation for two men wrongly accused of involvement in her death. Rachel's boyfriend, Barry White, and the couple's friend, Keith Hyatt, served 6 and 3 years, respectively, for their supposed involvement in her death. Well, I spoke to Barry White, and he told me what life has been like since he left prison. At what point in the prison sentence did you get an inkling that actually maybe things might start to go your way and there was a chance that people were starting to believe you?
after the Rough Justice programme. That Rough Justice programme was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they cancelled it, it was just, I can't believe that they'd done that.
How long between the Rough Justice programme going out and you walking out of prison?
3 years. Took another 3 years to get to the appeal courts.
3 years?
Yep.
It's just incredible that an innocent young man could get caught up in this slow machinery. Yeah. When the show went out, did you think, right, this is it, next week, I'm going home?
Yeah, pretty much. I thought, that was it. I'm being proved innocent on national telly. How can they keep me in any longer? But they can. 3 years later, we got to the appeal courts, won my appeal, and then I was out.
Did you know you were going to win it? I mean, obviously you knew you were innocent, but did you think the system's let me down already so much, it might mess up again?
No, I had a feeling that I'd win my appeal, because it wasn't a jury that was deciding. It was 3 judges, 3 experts who knew that the evidence was not correct. It was wrong evidence, so I knew that they'd try and quash the conviction. And it was another good thing was like everyone in jail, like inmates, officers, like, look, your conviction's going to get quashed. You are going to walk home. You are going to walk out of here. But I didn't realise it would take 3 years to get there.
That first time you walked out of court, a free man, innocent, how did that feel?
Oh yeah, that was an amazing day. Absolutely amazing day. It was a bit surreal, like just thinking, right, that's it. I'm out. I can go and do it. I can get on with my life. I can start again. I can see my friends and family. I can go swimming. I can go and do all sorts now. Not being stuck in a cell all day, every day.
Have you been able to get on with your life, though? Because 6 years you're in prison. Were you able to get on with your life?
I've tried getting back on with my life. It's been difficult. It's still difficult. But I've got to try to get back on. Like I said, my friends have been there. My family have been there to support me. I've got a beautiful little girl now who makes me smile, and she's my life. She's what I get up for. And
how old?
4 now.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
I got a 3.5-year-old boy, and they're bonkers at that age, aren't they?
Proper crazy. Proper.
But it's the best.
Yeah, it's the best thing in the world.
Do you still get... I mean, it was only 2 weeks since Shahid Al-Ahmed was found guilty, so we know that he did it. Up until that point, were you still getting people kind of nudging each other in the pub going, there's that Barry White, I'm still not sure about him?
No, not anymore. Like, after this, man was... I've had a lot of support, like a lot of my friends, and they all know everywhere I went after it was that Rough Justice programme. After that Rough Justice programme, everyone knew I was innocent then. Everybody.
Were you able to mourn the death of Rachel, your girlfriend at the time? Were you able to kind of mourn her passing with everything else that was going on?
No, not really, because I constantly had the police arresting me and then being charged and put in jail. I never had a chance to mourn her. I had to deal with all of this first before I could mourn her. And going through it all, it just broke me.
In what way broke you?
I turned to drugs and just to try and forget about everything that was going on. I never had a chance to mourn her.
Have you been able to kind of lay her memory to rest in your mind now?
Yeah, I've tried putting it behind me now. I said this is a new chapter in my life now. I got my girlfriend now who I'm trying to get a life with now. And just trying to put it all behind me.
Well, that was Barry White, who served 6 years in prison after being wrongly convicted for the murder of Rachel Manning, speaking exclusively to me on BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 7:15. Let's get the latest travel news now with Adam.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Definitely getting slower on the M1 southbound, looking at the cameras from junction 11 at the A505 down toward 9. For the A5 at Redbourne, A1M is busy as well, southbound slow from Hitchin to Stevenage junction 8 to 7. The A1 into London is busy as you go from Stirling Corner toward Mill Hill Circuits with a queue on the cameras there. M25 anti-clockwise, queuing into the roadworks section past Enfield. Delays then with queues from the M1 to Chorleywood, junction 21 to 18, and from junction 17 at Maple Cross to 15 at the M4. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being one big patch of traffic soon. Delays in Beaconsfield, the A355. It's likely to be the roadworks. There are a couple of sets of temporary traffic lights near to Dorney Bottom, and it looks quite slow as you come down toward the A40 and the M40 in Beaconsfield. Adam Glenn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
7:16, it's Monday the 16th of September. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Serco has dismissed 3 workers at Yarlswood Immigration Centre after complaints of unwanted sexual advances. The Surgery Centre in Stevenage is back under NHS control after critical reports about the company that ran it. And Barry White, who wrongly spent 6 years in prison for the murder of Rachel Manning in Milton Keynes, is making another claim for compensation. Coming up, we'll have the latest on the Surgery Centre in Stevenage, and also asking, do you keep books in your loo? 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every weekday from 12, Nick Coffer brings you...
We're talking antiques and collectibles. It doesn't have to be old things.
These anxieties that you have, when you get rid of this first one, you'll find that all these other things that you're talking about can fall into place.
Nick Coffer.
We've had some great music today. The Beatles, ABBA, Smokey Robinson, Adele, Pink Floyd.
Nick Coffer.
I am wearing bright purple jeans.
Weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A privately run NHS clinic where 3 patients died after routine surgery has come under NHS control this week. The Surgery Centre, based at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage, provides routine operations. Oh, we're just getting the guests queued up, shall we? Is the guests coming, do we think? Or let's assume they are, shall we? And let's see what happens. Let's play things a little bit dangerously and carry on the read and hope that by the time we get there, they turn up. No, they're not turning up. Shall we have a quick look at the front pages of the newspaper? Or yes, they're there. We'll do the papers. I don't know where my son is. Someone has taken my son, not my boys. That would be even more worrying. I'm just talking about my newspaper. So I don't know where that is. I can't give you that. The Daily Telegraph, Lily's... I don't know who this Lily Cole is. She's in the papers a lot, but I don't really know who she is. But she's on the front page of the Telegraph, so she must be somebody, huh? Coalition war over turbines exposed. The Energy Department attempted to derail a series... Minister, we must debate the future of the veil. Liberal Democrat says Muslim girls have garment imposed on them and a ban should be considered. Britain should consider banning Muslim girls and young women from wearing veils in schools and public places, a Home Office minister has said. Jeremy Brown, no, don't. Jeremy Brown, don't! You make things worse! Jeremy Brown, a Liberal Democrat, said there needs to be a national debate about whether the state should step in to protect young women from having the veil imposed on them. Mr Brown said he is instinctively uneasy about banning behaviour, but suggested the measure may still be necessary to ensure freedom of choice for girls in Muslim communities. Hang on a second, if you ban something, that removes the freedom of choice, doesn't it? Jeremy Brown? You've contradicted yourself there with your own words. We'll speak to Dave in a second. Let's have a quick look at some of the other papers first. The Guardian. Iran comes in from the cold after Obama reaches out. Proposed meeting of leaders will be the first since 1979 revolution. Hi, Chihuahua. And Clegg and Cable at odds over economy. I'm bored of the Lib Dems. I know it's their conference. They've just had their conference. Hey, what's the best thing, the biggest news thing that the Lib Dems could come out with this weekend? Did you see it? You see it? They're going to give you a bit of choice in buying your school uniform. That was the biggest... This was what Sky were leading with yesterday. This was the biggest thing to come out of the Lib Dem conference. Something that affects a fraction of people. They're going to write to schools asking them... Not imposing, but asking them to allow it so that you can go and buy your school uniform, not just from their specialist provider, but from, like, Tesco's as well. Oh, Lib Dems, that's brilliant. That's really going to get you elected in the next election. Isn't it? I don't think so. Dave's in Luton. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, Ian.
You've called in about Barry White, who we were just speaking to.
I certainly do.
Yes.
If I was that man, I'd kick his legal team out of his house, out of his mind, out of his house or wherever he is, wherever they are, and get to a human rights lawyer.
Right.
Because his human rights has been breached such horrific for 6 years.
Yep.
That don't leave it to the British courts. Get to the human rights courts. Let the judges decide.
You're talking about his compensation.
That's correct.
Well, there is due legal process, and surprisingly, it does take years for that to get sorted out. He's very, very close to getting some. I believe he's had a letter. I could be wrong on this. He's had a letter saying, yes, we're going to give you compensation, although no figure has been agreed. I met him, and he's sorting his life out, and he seems like a really nice bloke. But he did go off the rails a lot, and you kind of think, how would you survive, Dave? 6 years in prison for something you didn't do?
Well, this is what I'm stating. So you don't go to a British court or a British compensation department. You go to the human rights courts. Let them, they're foreign judges as well as British. Let them decide it. And 6 years away from his partner now, his child. You know what?
Well, his child was born after he came out of prison. But how much money, Dave, do you think Barry White should get?
£1 million for each year he's been there.
Really? £6 million?
Yeah. Oh, £6 million would never bring his life back to... It's 6 years of waste of being accused of something he's not done.
Yeah.
That's £1 million each year for his life being destroyed for 6 years.
You know
he'll never get it back.
You know he's not going to get anything approaching that. I would be surprised if he got £100,000 in total.
The justice system in this country is atrocious. I don't mind telling you it. Oh, but I hope Dennis is listening to this, because I'm going to get that book, Dennis.
No, Dave, listen, we're talking about books that you have in your toilet, not books about toilets.
Yeah, but it was just on the same line, wasn't it?
No, it was not. It was on a completely different line. It wasn't even a line.
No, but Dennis, he was trying to explain about this book.
Yes.
Most probably he did read it in the toilet.
He said Dave, he said that he didn't read it in the toilet. He said that it was specifically about toilets, but not one he kept in the toilets. The phone-in we're doing this morning is about books that you keep in the toilet.
Yeah, but you've got to give and take a little bit.
No.
Dennis is a nice man.
No, he's not.
He is. He's like that lady this morning with the dog.
Are you the Dave in Luton that I banned?
Well, for 2 weeks.
Right, go away. How does he keep getting through? He's banned. Dave in Luton all Daves in Luton are banned. How does he keep sneaking through the system, for goodness sakes? A privately run NHS clinic where 3 patients died after routine surgery has come under NHS control this week. The surgery centre, based at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage, provides routine operations. It's being bought by the Department of Health for £53 million, and services have now been transferred to East and North Hertfordshire NHS Trust. Well, the Tory MP for Stevenage, Stephen McPartland, campaigned for this change. It's been a long-running saga, hasn't it, Stephen?
Oh, yes, very much so. I'm delighted it's over now. It's been a long campaign, but for me, there's been a lot of fear in the local community. Your listeners may not be aware of it, but our local GPs stopped referring patients to the centre because they didn't feel it was safe.
When did it first come to your attention, Stephen, that things weren't quite right there?
Well, it was within a couple of months of it opening. We were getting lots of calls every day to the office about people turning up, appointments being missed, huge administration errors. I called the owners into Parliament. I got some other local members of Parliament to come into the meeting with me to explain their experiences. And then I just carried on trying to hold their feet to the fire, so to speak. And it became clear quite quickly that they'd lost 8,500 patient records.
How on earth do you lose 8,500 patient records?
Exactly. We're still waiting for the answers now. And the problem that I had with these patients' records that were lost in was they were for effectively eye surgery. So it's a degenerative disease, so people's eyesight would have been getting worse. And the only way in which we knew what was going on was because they were contacting us, saying, well, we haven't got an appointment. So my office spends a huge amount of time every single day trying to track people down and do the surgery centre's job for them. So I'm delighted. The people who managed Carillion, they owned a subsidiary clinic centre. They were just completely uninterested in the patients.
Is there an investigation into why these reports, these records were lost?
Oh, yes, the Care Quality Commission went in. They investigated them a number of times over a number of incidents. I mean, 3 patients died, and there's a whole range of other serious incidents. One of the difficulties is the staff who worked there on a day-to-day basis were effectively NHS staff who'd been transferred across. It was just the way in which the centre was being managed. I mean, to pop it into context, we put complex surgeries and surgical procedures into the hands of a bunch of builders. So the people who are operating this facility, they would normally be responsible for building it, and then they go away and let the NHS or some other organisation with experience operate the facility. But in this case, they let the builders carry on doing it.
I'm constantly scratching my head as to work out why a building firm was allowed to run a medical centre.
I've got no idea. I mean, the negotiations started back in 2004, and the whole contract was signed over by the previous government in 2009, and then it took a couple of years to open. Once it opened, it was just a disaster from the first day. For me, I just feel that patients and patients' families were not at the centre of what was necessary. It was just a desire to get things done, get people through a system. You weren't an individual, you were just a number, you were a brick, so to speak. You were just a piece of equipment, and that's something that I could never support, and it just never ever got better. It was quite a difficult 18 months for a lot of the local community, because some people would go there and get quite good treatment, but huge numbers of people were getting very poor treatment, and the problem is, when you were getting the poor treatment, it was really, really poor. One of the biggest difficulties was you go along and have an operation, and then there'd be no follow-up appointment because they forget about you.
It's in NHS hands now, but will things improve? Because it'll be the same staff in there, won't it?
Well, a number of the people who are running the facility have already been moved on, because what we did is we bought the facility back off them, and that was all happened at the beginning of August. Then there was a 6-week period whereby it was being managed by them and the hospital, so that we could weed out a number of the difficulties. And as of Saturday lunchtime, it became the hospital's main responsibility, and it's now just part of the Lister Hospital. I'll be going along there myself on Wednesday to see how they're getting along with it, and be doing some kind of little opening. And I think the main thing now is that we get the confidence back in the local community, so people feel that they can go back along there.
Carillion get 53 million quid for this after they've messed up so spectacularly. That doesn't seem right, does it?
I mean, I never thought it sounded right, but it's really difficult because effectively it's their land, their building and their equipment, so it's like your house. We've had to buy it off them because it is theirs.
Yeah, well, it's funny the way things work out. Stephen McPartland, MP for Stevenage, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is the phone number if you want to have a say on that or any of the other stories. You can also go to facebook.com/BBC3CR where we're discussing the Queen's special gravy. I know.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 southbound's looking very slow this morning. Flitwick to Luton Junction 12 to 10. It's taking on average half an hour to get through that stretch. Black Cat roundabout starting to queue on the A1. Delays there at the junction for the Barford bypass. The A421 itself, though, not looking too bad. A1M is slow on the southbound side, Hitchin to Stevenage Junction 8 to 7, then queues into London southbound through Boreham Wood from Stirling Corner toward Mill Hill Circus. The clockwise M25 is starting to slow up as you go into the roadworks past South Mims at the A1M, Junction 23. Anti-clockwise still delayed into the works. Queues are well back into Essex now this morning, but it's definitely slow as you join around Enfield and go toward Potter's Bar. And one big queue now, as promised earlier, from the M1 to the M40, junction 21 to 16. It's very slow moving around there. Trains and tubes, though, are running well. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Adam. It's 7:30. Let's get the latest news and sport now.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Headlines at 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. Security firm Serco has dismissed 3 employees at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. It follows a report in the Observer newspaper alleging that women there have been subjected to unwanted sexual advances. People who commit benefit fraud could face longer prison sentences under new guidelines published today. The changes mean some offenders could be jailed for up to 10 years. The controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage is back under NHS control this morning. Doctors have refused to refer patients to the privately run centre since May, following the deaths of 3 patients after routine surgery. And an innocent man who spent years in prison for the murder of his girlfriend in Milton Keynes has submitted another claim for compensation. Barry White was wrongly jailed for the murder of 19-year-old Rachel Manning over a decade ago. The weather will be cool today with blustery showers, top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Cristiano Ronaldo says he has no plans to return to Manchester United. He's signed a new contract that will keep him at Real Madrid until 2018. Ronaldo says he wants to finish his career in Spain.
Manchester, it's the past. Now my club, it's the present, it's Real Madrid. Now this is my home. My family, it's here. And I'm really happy here. The clubs who knock the door to ask something about me, but they always know that my only goal is always to be here and to play in this club for maybe until the end of my career.
In the Premier League yesterday, Southampton and West Ham drew 0-0 at St Mary's. Luke Chadwick, Sean Williams and Patrick Bamford helped secure a 3-1 victory for the MK Dons against Notts County on Saturday. Goal scorer Sean Williams is focusing on his own team's efforts.
I think we're just taking each game as it comes. We're not worrying about other teams' results and how they're doing. We're just worried about our own performances and making sure we can get as many points on the board as possible. And Peterborough's up next, so we'll focus our attention on them when we come back in training.
Meanwhile, Watford and Luton are preparing for matches tomorrow night. The Hornets are at home to Doncaster in the Championship. The Hatters host Dartford in the Conference. And Great Britain can look forward to playing against the top tennis nations again in the Davis Cup. They're through to a World Group tie in February after victories for Andy Murray and Dan Evans in the singles yesterday. BBC 3 Counties News and Sport, more at 8 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. We're talking about books on the loo. I don't remember why. Catherine, you were telling me that you used to read the Thornbirds on the toilet. Was that true?
That wasn't me, that was Tara.
Oh, was that Tara that used to read
the pinch her grandma's copy of it. Thought no one knew.
And she was there having a little read up.
No, I used to have a drink in the...
Sorry?
My grandparents, I don't know why, it must be a throwback to when they had an outside privy, but they used to keep all the pop in the toilet.
Oh.
So I used to go in there and have a little
pop.
lemonade.
I used to hate my nan's outside toilet. Oh, I could not go. It was cold, it was dirty, there were massive spiders in there. Oh, it was an outside toilet.
Did you have proper loo roll, or were you using newspaper?
I think it was that tracing paper. Yeah, I think so. God, this is this is how old I am. My great-grandmother had an outside toilet and I used to have to go in it. It's like growing up in the war times.
It's very nearly that, yeah. And that tracing paper, how did that get past the dragons? It doesn't do anything, just smears it about.
Oh, dear. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. We're talking about that. But first, a new book claims that you may be able to read on the toilet. The Queen's beloved corgis are fed a luxury diet of fillet steak and chicken breast. How does that make you feel when you're struggling to afford to go and buy some nice food, huh? Well, the carefully prepared meals are then delivered by a footman and covered by gravy, which is poured by the monarch herself. Royal biographer Brian Hoey claims that the dogs eat at 5 p.m. sharp every day at Buckingham Palace. The book also claims that the dogs never eat tinned food and have even been given, oh, for goodness sakes, homeopathic remedies when they're ill. Yeah, of course they have, because Charles believes in all that nonsense. Let's just get this cleared up once and for all, OK? Homeopathy and indeed Chinese medicine are 2 of the biggest scams going. They don't do anything. I did that Chinese medicine once. It's horrible. All right, here's some leaves and some twigs, and you boil it up and you drink the brown muck that comes out of it. I don't want to diss, 1.5 billion people, but your medicine sucks. And homeopathy, so what they're going to do is they're going to give you some arnica, but they're not going to give you arnica, they're going to water it down to 1,000th of its original strength. What is arnica anyway? How is that going to help me with shock? It's a shock that someone gives you a little tablet going, this one. Oh no, it must work because there are tests done where they've given it to dogs, so it can't be a placebo. It's a nonsense-o. 8459 455 555 if you want to have your say about that. Well, Justin Dealey has been out talking about dog owners this morning, haven't you, Justin?
Morning, boss. Thanks for that. I was about to try some Chinese medicine this week for my cough. It's been going now for 7 weeks. I've tried antibiotics. Everything's failed. I was about to try Chinese medicine. Then, listening to you, I'm probably going to be put off now.
I can help cure you of your cough.
Go on.
Stop smoking.
I know that.
Stop smoking.
Yes. Okay.
Stop smoking.
God, you're scary with that voice, aren't you?
Stop smoking, because what will happen is your cough will get worse for about 3 weeks and you'll be coughing up all kinds of stuff.
Oh, lovely.
But then it will be better. All you need to do, Justin, is stop smoking.
Oh, with an echo like
there we
that,
go.
how can I say
Dear
no?
listener, let's if you see Justin Dealey out and about, just go up to him and go, all right, Justin, stop smoking. Just go up to him. Just say it to him.
Or just slap me around the face and say, stop smoking.
Oh.
No, don't do that. Don't
Or
do
say,
that.
you're Justin Dealey, I claim my £5 and he will give it to you. Well, yeah, no, don't go for the Chinese medicine, don't go for the homeopathy. They are both nonsense.
Yes.
But can you believe the Queen's dogs get a fillet steak and chicken breast and then she pours on her very own special gravy?
Of course I believe it. I can believe that, because it's the Queen we're talking about here. Everyone else is paying for it. There you go. Lovely Corgi number 1. You have a nice bit of fillet steak. Corgi number 2, you have some chicken. It's all a bit too much. Ian, I've been talking to dog owners this morning about some of the foods that they give to their dogs. This is what people had to say. Mike, you've got 3 dogs with you today. Tell us about your dogs.
Well, they're good dogs, aren't they? They're just 2 ordinary Jack Russells and a lurcher. Loves playing with other dogs. Simple as that.
What about the unusual foods that you feed your dogs?
Well, mine have fresh chicken wings in the morning for breakfast. Good for their teeth, good for their digestive system, and it's natural.
From the butchers or just the supermarket?
Supermarket and butchers, whichever's cheapest.
Do you know anybody else who feeds their dog fresh chicken wings in the morning?
Guide Dogs for the Blind. I've spoke to people like that. They do. That's where I got it from originally.
Anything else?
Rabbit, fresh rabbit. If my parents and that doesn't eat it, then the dogs have it as a bonus.
And you say it's a bonus. How often does this bonus happen?
In the winter time, sort of once a week. When they've been out, the ferrets eat the inside, sort of the liver and the kidneys and the heads, and I chop a bit up, dice it up for the dogs fresh.
I mean, some people won't offer their dogs any treats, but when you see your dogs eating rabbit and these other treats, can you see a notice in their behaviour? Are they happier dogs?
I believe so, yeah, because you don't have all the additives of the dried stuff and things like that. The tin stuff is 90% water and all the additives, so fresh is best.
28-day-old steak, scrambled egg, salmon, tuna. She's quite partial to tuna with a little bit of chilli.
Tuna and chilli for a dog?
Yeah, she loves it.
Fantastic. Well, that Jack Russell is sport rotten, clearly. Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing at all.
You can't give chilli to a dog.
Well, that man says that his dog loves tuna and chilli. Is anybody else out there feeding their dogs a tuna and chilli?
Scrambled eggs, tuna and chilli. I cannot believe that's healthy. You know you're not supposed to give dogs chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kills them. You give a dog human chocolate, I think, let's say it. It's a fact. If you give a dog human chocolate, it kills them.
Yes, it can do, yeah.
So don't do that. But every now and then I will give Velvet a little bit of chicken leftovers. She likes a bit of ham. Only the cheap stuff. We're not going to go nuts.
That, yep.
But that's it. The rest of the time, it's, just biscuits, isn't it?
I've never heard anything as bizarre as tuna and chilli for a dog, but there you go. You learn something new every single day on this show.
Look, well, yeah. Lots of people on Facebook are upset by this. Paul Williams says it's obscene at a time when many families can't even afford food. And then Drake says, not all royals live like that. I bet Fergie is regularly down the local food bank. It's possible, it's possible. Justin, I don't really feel that you've earned your keep today.
OK, I've got one more thing for you. Shirley, we spoke to Shirley earlier on, who abused you live on air. And we've got some views from Shirley here as well about dog food. Now, she, a bit like the Queen, does feed her dog fillet steak. Oh. So I put the question to her, how often does this happen?
Twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah. I buy it from Marks and Spencer's. She has Marks and Spencer's cooked chicken and lamb chops.
Do you feed your dog any dog food at all?
No.
No.
Well, do you think you need to be feeding your dog things like fillet steak, a bit like the Queen? Is that not going too far?
No, she's my pride and joy. She has fillet steak, I have sausages.
And do you think she appreciates it?
Well, look at her. She doesn't leave my side.
And this is Poppet, isn't it?
That's Poppet.
Yeah, that's Shirley, one of the biggest fans of this radio show. It's good to have. Morning, Shirley, my love. Hope you're all right. Hope you gave the dogs a nice walk.
She hates the show, but she listens every day.
Well, because she doesn't know how to turn the radio off. And listen, if that's how I get listeners, Justin, I don't mind.
She loves you, really.
Any which way but loose. So I don't even buy my boys their meat from Marks and Spencer's.
It's bizarre. It really is. I mean, obviously, treat your dogs with respect. You love them, but to go out and buy a dog fillet steak, for me personally, just my personal view, I think that's going just a little bit too far.
What's your dog called? Your mum's dog called?
He's called Bailey.
Bailey. And what does Bailey get?
He gets normal dog food, pedigree chum. That's what he eats. Maybe on a Sunday he might get some roast chicken as part of the roast dinner, but that's it. Certainly no fillet steak for him.
Ever eaten dog food?
Yes, once before. Let's not go there.
No, let's go there. Why? Why did you do it?
I was hungry.
You did not eat it?
I did.
Were you drunk?
No, I wasn't drunk. No, I was just hungry.
So you ate some, I've eaten dog biscuits. We've all eaten dog biscuits.
Yeah, very tasty.
Very tasty. A bit dry, but tasty. I've eaten dog chocolates. Just cheap chocolate, basically. But I've never eaten the dog food, the wet stuff.
No, I did it once, actually. It was at the radio station about, 10 years ago, and there was something called Food Friday. Please, for goodness sake, don't bring this feature back. Every single Friday, I had to eat something bizarre live on air, and for 1 week, it was dog food. Only a couple of spoonfuls.
Don't worry. Luckily, I'm here to save local radio, so that's fine. Now, Justin, can we send you out on another mission?
Yes.
There's a front page of the Times, 10-year jail term for benefit fraudsters. Benefit cheats face increased jail terms of up to 10 years. I'm not sure how I feel about this, Justin. Could you find out what the public think, and then I'll make up my mind?
Yeah, of course. No
Cheers, buddy. See you later.
Thank you.
Ta-ta. There we go, Justin Daly. Don't forget, if you see him outside, just go up to him. He's a nice fella. Go up to him, Justin. Stop smoking. He's had his cough for 7 weeks, and I don't care about his own health. I care about my mental health. And him coming in every morning. All right, big fella. I got his big cough. He's talking about coughs every single morning. Let's just get him off the tabs, shall we? He needs to stop. Because now, how old is he? He's 42, 43. He claims he's early 30s. Okay, but yeah, okay, let's say he's early 30s, whatever. He looks older than me, for goodness sakes. But now is the time. I stopped smoking when I was 31. Boom. Out. That's it. Now is the time for him to stop. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. The Daily Express is still banging on about Princess Diana's murder. Murder is a murder. SAS ordered to kill Diana. The word ordered is in inverted commas. The implication being, actually, she wasn't murdered. Police under renewed pressure to open full murder investigation. Murder. She wasn't murdered. It was a drunk Frenchman driving too quickly and they weren't wearing seatbelts. That's what happened. That's the facts, kids. Princess Diana was murdered in a job carried out, quotes, to order, unquotes. The SAS soldier behind the claim told his wife. So to page 5. Let's see a bit more about the facts. How could anyone kill Diana? He said, it's an order. A job's a job. Now divorced, the soldier's ex-wife. This is where all this information has come from. The soldier's ex-wife was interviewed by Scotland Yard detectives last month. She told them her former husband decided to confide all to her after taking Prince William, then 26, on an advanced driving course. He told his wife he already knew of the alleged plot to kill her, but a face-to-face encounter with the young prince convinced him to open up to his wife for the first time. Why didn't he tell the prince instead of his wife? William, got some news. There was a plot to kill your mum. During her police interview, she said to have told police, we were talking about it, the driving course, and I was saying how lovely it was that Princes William and Harry were doing so well, and it was sad their mum wasn't there to see it. Then he said to me, one of the guys was responsible for the accident, for the death of Diana. He went on to tell me it had been done in a tunnel, that people had been monitoring them, a light was shone in the driver's eyes. And during the chat between them, he also spoke about the top-secret unit's apparent ambivalence towards Diana's death. He said it had to happen in the tunnel to guarantee death. Oh, for goodness sakes. What a load of old tosh. Soldier N swore his wife to secrecy, but she later revealed the astonishing allegations to her mother. It's not true. It's been the front page of the Express for the last month. It's not true. And there are suckers out there going, I told you, I knew it was a murder. I knew it. 08459 455 555. It's 6:45. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel. Here's Adam Glynn.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1 looking slow at the Black Cat roundabout with queues approaching the Barford bypass. The A1M is slow from Hitchin to Stevenage, and queues as you go into London through Boreham Wood. On the A1 southbound from Stirling Corner to Mill Hill Circus. The M1 southbound, pretty heavy traffic from Flitwick at junction 12 toward Luton and the airport at junction 10. It's taking about half an hour to get through there. Clockwise M25 slow into the works as you go past the A1M at South Mims, junction 23. Anti-clockwise, there are queues that go well back into Essex this morning, approaching the roadworks at Enfield, junction 25. Then a long queue from the M1 round to the M40, junction 21 to 16. The M40 southbound, slow-moving Watlington to High Wycombe, junction 6 to 4. And if you're going further into London, the A40, long delays from Swakeleys roundabout in Uxbridge down to Gypsy Corner in Acton. Not helped by onlookers slowing past an accident on the westbound side of the A40 on the way out of London. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Adam. We'll have more from him before 8 o'clock, but now it's 7:46. It's Monday the 16th of September. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Serco has dismissed 3 workers from Yarlswood Immigration Centre after complaints of unwanted sexual advances. People who commit benefit fraud can now get 10 years in prison. And the Surges Centre in Stevenage is back under NHS control after concern that lives were being put at risk. 08459 455 555. It was called about any of the things we're talking about this morning, particularly if you believe that Princess Diana was murdered. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Before that, though, let's get the latest weather. Here's Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a lovely, bright, sunny start to the day. It is rather a chilly one, though, and it's still particularly windy. Now, we're going to see some blustery showers develop a bit later on through the morning and into the afternoon. They're going to blow in from the west. Where we do see the showers, they should be, well, there 1 minute and gone the next. They'll be gone quite quickly, blown away on that brisk westerly breeze. So a little bit of wet weather, but lots of brightness and sunshine in between, and some places could stay dry for the whole day. Now, we're looking at temperatures today on the cool side, only up to 14, 15 degrees Celsius perhaps in St Albans, Aylesbury, Stevenage and Hertford as well. That's 59 in Fahrenheit. It is unseasonably cool for September. Now into tonight it should remain dry. Actually, it will dry out through this evening, and it's going to stay breezy, lots of clear spells, temperatures down to a rather chilly 6 or 7 degrees again. And then for tomorrow, a dry start, clouding over though, and eventually we'll see some outbreaks of rain that could turn quite heavy through the afternoon. It's going to remain quite cool, highs of 15 degrees. In fact, that's where the temperatures are going to tend to stay for the rest of the working week at least, and it's going to be rather unsettled with longer spells of rain at time. That's the forecast.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Roberto Perrone on BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you're at home, sit back, because this is going to be very, very interesting. You've got the selfie, the legsy, the bumsy.
You're going to start that trend.
Roberto Perrone.
We seem to be heading headlong into war again.
We're very keen to stop this from happening.
We don't know where this might lead. The lie that took us into the Iraq war could become a shocking truth in this one.
Roberto Perrone. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I can't remember how we got onto the subject of books in loos, but we have done, and boy oh boy, it's staying with us. It turns out lots of you are deviants. I can't believe that in what year are we in? 1997? What? It's 2013? 1997 is like, 16 years ago? It still sounds really... 1994 sounds really recent to me. I'm really old. Anyway... it turns out lots of you do keep books in your loo. Claire on Twitter says, I have a very large bathroom. I have an entire bookcase. Oh, dear. The thing is, I interviewed like a biologist. It wasn't a biologist, but that's the best word I can think of. Germologist. What do they call it? There's a word for someone who Google it for me, Kath. Specialises in germs. It could be a bacteriologist. Yeah, we're getting closer. Anyway, I interviewed him, and when you flush the toilet after a number 2, Do you know how many germs fly out into the air? Let's ask my team. Catherine Boyle, how many germs fly out into the air after you flush the toilet?
Oh, lots. You have to put the lid down.
Yeah, but OK, give me a number.
5.
Kelly Betts, how many germs do you... It's more than 5.
3,901.
6 billion.
Oh, that's close.
Does it not depend on the...
6 billion germs. That's why you shouldn't keep books in there, for goodness sakes. What an awful, awful thing to do. On Facebook, lots of you have been having your say on this as well. Andy keeps an iPad mini. Tammy says, we have several books in our bathroom. Jokes from the Cistern Chapel. What? And for some reason, my son in there put in there a copy of the Advanced Driving Manual from the DSA. Claire says, it's the only time I get to read. Jenny says, no, I spend only as much time in there as necessary. In and out. In and out. What was my dad doing in there in the 70s on a Sunday afternoon with the newspaper? And Corrine says, the only time a book goes into my bathroom is when I'm having a nice, long soak in the bath. I've tried this. You cannot read in the bath. You can't do it because you've got to lie out, and baths aren't... The bacteriologist, yes, that'll do. You can't do it because you can't lie down properly. Also, the pages get damp. You can't turn the pages. Catherine, you're miming...
You can get devices in the back of magazines and things, you know, where they have the big slipper
Yeah.
and the foot warmer things.
All right,
you can
baby Connolly, yes.
You can get like a stand, can't you, to go in the middle of the bath. But even so, you've got wet fingers. You're going to get your book all
Again,
a mess.
Going to get you what?
Your book a mess.
But the bath is functional. In, out, shake it all about, do the okey cokey, and then you get right up. That's it. That's all.
Got a big bath.
You've got. That's all you need to do. What's all this luxuriating in a bath? And then my wife does this weird thing that she's starting doing with my boys, and I wish she wouldn't, because they're going to grow up as weird as she is. Having a bath, then having a shower immediately after. Yeah, that's
What, to wash off all the soap suds?
Well, just to wash off the dirt of the bath. But that's what the towel is for. The towel's to scrub off the grime.
Does she have a bath after a shower?
No.
Does she get out of the shower to wee? I bet she does.
Right, OK, we took it there.
We went a little bit too far there. 08459 455 555. Dennis is in Dunstable. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning. Second time around, yes. Good morning.
What do you want?
I don't want it. You just put me on to you. You said you're still interested in toilets.
No, yeah, but have you you don't want to talk about your blooming book about toilets again, do you?
No, I don't want. I want to tell you to go and buy it.
I'm not...
And then you won't need to ask me about it.
I don't want...
It is very, very funny. You read that, I'll tell you what, you'll fall off the toilet reading it. And you'll never go back in there again.
What book is it?
It's called The Specialist, and it's about an American toilet manufacturer. He makes earth toilets.
What?
An earth toilet.
What's an earth toilet?
Dennis,
can I just say to the listener, yes, we really are this short of content. Dennis, continue.
Right. It's like digging a hole in the garden and not watering in it afterwards.
Right. How can the man get a whole book out of digging a hole in the garden?
Because he tells you all the things that he does to it.
I don't want to know what he does to it.
For instance, people who spend too long in the toilet in this particular farm he's talking about. So he goes back with a pad saw and makes the hole squares and leaves the rough edges on the toilet seat. They don't stay in there very long. He always situates it. If there's ladies in the farm, he situates it near the wood pile, so that a young lady going out to the toilet...
Piles?
And then somebody says, oh, she's going to the toilet. She doesn't. She walks past the toilet, picks up a load of wood, and takes it back in the house. That way, the wood pile in the house is always full. The little things like that.
Yes.
And his greatest joy is to sit at the top of a hill, looking down a family four-holer, which was 4 people in a row. That was his great...
Let me get this right. This gentleman's greatest joy is a family four-holer.
No, that he'd done it.
And they were doing it.
He could sit and watch these people going in the toilet on his absolute perfect toilet.
So his idea of a good day was to sit on a hill watching people going to the toilet.
Yes, he's enjoying his work. He's enjoying his work, like any builder would do.
But when the Polish lads came and put in a new toilet in my flat or my house I lived in, I didn't then invite them round to watch me christen it.
No, well, he didn't do that. He was very proud.
He was being sneaky and was watching them on a hill with binoculars.
I'm sure that Polish lad stood outside your house and looked back and thought, I've done a damn good job there. I hope he enjoys it.
But again, Dennis, I cannot... Have you got the book there with you?
I haven't. I've been searching frantically for it since the phone.
Your missus has got rid of it?
No, she hasn't. But if I find it, I promise you, I'll send it to you.
Honestly, I don't know. You please. I do not want to see it.
Why not?
But I cannot... We're talking about books...
In the toilet?
In toilets, not books about toilets.
Well, go and read the book about toilets in the toilet.
I don't want to. I want to forget about toilets when I'm in there.
Oh, dear. You're a lost soul. I'm sorry, you're a lost soul.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed. Dennis in Dunstable. Literally no idea what's going on this morning. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call. Lots of you having your say on Facebook about about rubbish, let's be honest. About toilets and the Queen's corgis. The Queen gives her dogs fillet steak. Do you know how much a fillet steak is? It's a lot of money. Oh, it's a lot of money. And then she pours her special gravy on it. Well, we're finding out the treats you give your pets. I feel I'm treating Benjamin Bunny by cutting up a carrot for him, which I did at the weekend. Economy brand carrots. Economy brand. I couldn't even bother. What's it? Carrot's a carrot. Although they do taste a bit metallic. Anyway, I gave him an economy brand carrot, and he loved that. But I'm not going to cook anything special for him. Jan says on Facebook, if the Queen is the only one who knows her secret formula, does she stand over the stove cooking it in batches? I have a vision in my head. I wonder if she wears her crown. If I was the King or the Queen, I would wear my crown all the time and carry the mitre and probably wear a sash. Oh, that's beauty queens, isn't it? Nick's on the line. Good morning, Nick.
Morning.
Nick, what are you called in about?
I thought the word that you were looking for was toxologist, but apparently it's not.
Oh, no, it's a toxicologist.
That's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, No, hang on a second. Catherine, what?
That's drugs, isn't it?
No.
That's when they're looking for a toxicology report.
That's a junkie.
Oh, carry
Oh,
on.
right. I ought to read more in the loo, I think. That's the trouble.
Oh, no. You don't want to read a book about toilets, do you?
No.
What do you do for a living, Nick?
I drive for a major retailer.
OK, so you're a driver. So I imagine you get a lot of satisfaction out of your driving when you've done a good job and people say, well done, Nick, thanks very much for that. If your job was making toilets, would you sit on a hill watching people doing their business?
Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, thank you very much indeed. I really need to have a rethink about whether I want to be broadcasting to people like Dennis. I'm going to go home and I'm going to go to a church and meditate for an hour and open up my heart to God, and hopefully he'll give me the answer. Jeanette says on the subject of feeding pets treats, I love fresh pork crackling. I didn't like crackling as a youngster, but I did like bread and dripping. Oh, bread and dripping, beautiful. I can't resist but to give my Labrador some. Gromit is very lucky because he just swallows it whole. What a waste of that lovely pork rind. Pork rind. Drake says, not all... Oh, we've done that one, yes, not all royals live like that. I bet Fergie is regularly down the local food bank. Well, she's back with Andrew now, isn't she? They're getting married again. So she's quids in. And Mark says, I might get my corgi outfit on later and pop round the palace for tea. Well, judging by their lapses in security, you could probably sneak in there. Do they have a cat flap at the palace? Do you think they have a cat flap? I bet they do. I bet they have a gold one that's operated with weights and levers. 08459 455 555. It's 7:58. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Adam.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1 queuing as you approach the Black Cat roundabout, looking very slow on that southbound side, coming toward the Barford bypass and the Bedford Road. The A1M is quite busy southbound as well, from Hitchin towards Stevenage, junctions 8 to 7, and queues into London round Boreham Wood from the Holiday Inn junction to Mill Hill Circus, so it's queuing a little bit further back than it was. M1 southbound still looking slow on the cameras and the speed sensors from Flitwick toward Luton, junction 12 to 10, taking on average half an hour to get through. M40 southbound, that is slow from Watlington to High Wycombe, junction 6 to 4. And if you're going into London on the A40, expect long delays eastbound from the Swakeleys roundabout at Uxbridge all the way through to Gypsy Corner in Acton. There's been an accident on the carriageway westbound leaving London, and lots of people are slowing down to look at that. Clockwise M25 queuing into the roadworks at South Mims, anti-clockwise slow through the works as well, plus from the M1 to the M40. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Adam. So it's on the front page of some of the newspapers. Benefit frauds could face up to 10 years in prison. Well, what do you think? Is that a bit harsh? Well, actually, you're going, that's fair enough.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headline, staff sacked at Yarlswood Detention Centre, much longer sentences for benefit fraud, and the Lister Surgery Centre back in the hands of the NHS.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Security firm Serco has dismissed 3 employees at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. It follows allegations that women there have been subjected to unwanted sexual advances. Heather Jones from Yarlswood Befrienders says she's shocked but not surprised.
Women who are detained are extremely vulnerable. They're very isolated. How consensual can it be if one of those is not free? A consensual relationship is between 2 consenting adults, freely entered into. When one of those isn't free, how can that be consensual?
People who commit benefit fraud can now get 10 years in prison. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Keir Starmer, says getting one over on the system was not a victimless crime. Clive Coleman reports.
Today's guidance sets out the approach prosecutors should take in deciding which offences to use so that the charge fits the crime. Where the alleged offending merits it, they should charge under the Fraud Act, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. Benefits frauds of less than £20,000 were automatically tried in magistrates' courts, which could only sentence to 12 months imprisonment. That financial limit goes, so that smaller cases can be referred to the Crown Court for tougher sentencing.
The surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage is back under NHS control. It follows numerous complaints about the private company which ran it, including a number of deaths from routine surgery. Stephen McPartland, the Conservative MP for Stevenage, says it's not before time.
We put complex surgeries and surgical procedures into the hands of a bunch of builders. So the people who are operating this facility, they would normally be responsible for building it, and then they go away and let the NHS or some other organisation with experience operate the facility. But in this case, they let the builders carry on doing it.
An innocent man who spent years in prison for the murder of his girlfriend in Milton Keynes has submitted another claim for compensation. Barry White was wrongly jailed for the murder of 19-year-old Rachel Manning over a decade ago. Earlier this month, another man was found guilty of the crime. Barry says compensation will give him a sense of justice.
It's not going to help. It's not going to bring back them 13 years. It's never going to help. But it'll be nice. Like, that's when I feel like I've got a bit of justice for the crime that was committed against me by falsely imprisoning me. I feel like then they've said sorry. That'll be my justice then.
In sport, Cristiano Ronaldo won't be returning to Man United after signing a new deal with Real Madrid. And England's cricketers play Australia today in the deciding one-day international at Southampton. The weather for Bedtards and Bucks will be cool today with blustery showers. Top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius. That's 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Suddenly it's 3 minutes past 8. Isn't that wonderful? Did you have a good weekend? I got to go inside the Big Brother house on Friday. I was genuinely very excited. It's tiny in there and filthy. It's a bit stinky, Also, one of the twins from Big Brother had a go at me. He had a go at me. How rude. In front of everybody. I told him to stop being a bit of a... I used a swear word. I said, come on, mate, stop being a... Yeah, I'm not being funny, right? But you made my mum cry. Oh, stop being it. It's all behind us. I was in a room with all of the Big Brother contestants. I've been watching it all summer. I couldn't remember any of their names. And within 30 seconds, I'd run out of things to say to Dexter. He's a nice lad, but, you know... Lots coming up on the show this morning. We're going to... I spoke exclusively to Barry White, a gentleman who served 6 years in prison for a murder that he didn't commit. We'll hear a bit of his incredible story in the next couple of minutes. Benefits fraudsters may go to prison for up to 10 years. For 10 years? Really? It seems a little bit harsh, but maybe I'm being soft and generous. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? And books in the toilet. Books in the toilet. Books in the toilet. Not books about toilets. Does anybody still do it? Well, it turns out lots of you do. JVS is in soon. I bet he's got books in the toilets. I bet he has, because he comes across as posh. We know very differently. Facebook.com/BBC 3CR. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or, and this is the best way to do it, give me a call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
The man wrongly accused of the murder of Rachel Manning 13 years ago is now looking forward to getting compensation for the time he spent in prison. Well, Barry White from Milton Keynes has submitted a second claim to the Ministry of Justice via his lawyers. He spent 6 years in prison and has been out for about 5 years and has still not received any compensation. Well, earlier this month, another man was sentenced for 19-year-old Rachel's murder. We can talk now to the Conservative MP for Milton Keynes South, Iain Stewart. Good morning, Iain.
Good morning.
I spoke to Barry a while ago. It is just the most incredible story, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've been involved with this case for some time. Keith Hyatt, who was the other man wrongly imprisoned for this, is actually a close neighbour of mine. And I've been aware of the case and involved in it since 2005, so quite a few years now.
And Barry has been out, I think, for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm so naive, Ian. I thought if you came out of prison after being found not guilty, they'd say, we're very, very sorry, here's a big cheque, do accept our apologies. But 5 years later, he's had the apology now, but he's still not received any money, has he?
He hasn't, neither is Keith, and it's long overdue that they are compensated. I'm working with them and their lawyer and trying to get the compensation payment from the Ministry of Justice. Without going into the technical details, there was some evidence relating to the claim that couldn't be made public because of the other trial. But I think that the time it's taking is far too long. And once they've got their compensation arranged, I'm going to be asking for a review of the whole process, because this sort of delay when you've got two men who are clearly innocent is just not acceptable.
Well, there have been huge delays in this because not only are the gentlemen still waiting for their compensation, but Barry spent 3 years in prison after the Rough Justice programme, which had all the evidence that he was innocent, was aired.
That's right. I mean, sometimes it does take a period of time for someone's innocence to be properly shown, and that's a separate matter for in terms of how the criminal justice system operates. But the delay that's not acceptable in my mind is when his conviction was quashed and he was cleared in a retrial. Then at that point, I believe that the due compensation should be paid.
Do we have any concept of what the compensation might be? 50,000, 100,000? What kind of figures might we be talking about?
It's going to be a substantial sum, given the length of time that these two men were imprisoned. You can never put a figure on these things to compensate for loss of liberty and all the other mental and physical strains that they would have gone through. What price do you put in that? But it's going to be a significant sum of money to allow them to get on with their lives.
Barry has struggled. He admitted that to me himself, that he turned to drugs when he was in prison, and he's kind of pulling himself and straightening himself up, but he's had a tough time. Did the gentleman get psychological support?
Well, I know Keith more than I know Barry, and I know Keith's family have rallied around him, but it's put a huge stress on all of them. And as part of the review, I want to make sure that we do give proper counselling and support to people who have been falsely imprisoned. It's difficult for us to imagine just what it would be like, to be sentenced to prison for a crime you didn't commit. The mental pressure must be intolerable.
And finally, just on the subject of compensation, Iain, how far down the line are we? When do we think they might receive something?
Well, I'm hoping it will be soon. A fresh application has been submitted to the Ministry of Justice, and I spoke to Chris Grading, the Justice Secretary last week, and he assured me he's giving it his personal attention. So I'm hoping they'll get a resolution on this sooner rather than later.
Iain, thanks very much indeed. That's Conservative MP for Milton Keynes South, Iain Stewart. Well, I did speak to Barry White a few days ago, and he told me his incredible story.
Barry, it's very nice to meet you. Tell us a little bit about... you've been looking for compensation, haven't you, for the last 5 years? How's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. A minute our solicitors are dealing with it, and I think we've put in our second claim for consideration now, and hopefully we should hear something soon, hopefully.
I'm kind of naive at this. I kind of thought you go to prison, you get found out you're in prison for the wrong reason, that you'd come out and you would get a cheque and a big apology. It's not been anything like that, has it?
No. I've had an apology, but the cheque, we've been fighting it for 5 years, and for 5 years they were like, well, we're not going to give you compensation because we still think you might have done it.
Is that really what the implication they've made?
Yeah, we've got letters indoors saying that we're not giving you compensation because in our eyes we still think you might have done this crime.
Even though the conviction was overturned and you were found not guilty?
Even though the conviction was overturned, yep.
How does that make you feel?
It's horrible. I've been proven innocent. Now you're telling me you still might think I've done it. How do you deal with that?
It's a horrific story. And I can't even begin to imagine what you feel like. You lose your girlfriend in a horrific crime. You get blamed for it. You get arrested. You get sent to prison. As this story was progressing, how were you feeling?
That was horrible. The first year, 2 years, it was horrible in jail. I'd say I turned to drugs and just to get an escape route, just to put me where I was at the time.
When the police arrested you for the murder, what did you think?
I was just in shock that they arrested me and was questioning me for 2 or 3 days, and I was thinking that I never done this crime. I'm telling you the truth and you just don't seem to believe a word I say.
And that just must have been so frustrating. You're sat there telling the truth and all the coppers going, yeah, OK, son, now come on, tell us the real truth.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's how it felt. Like they felt like they put me in the middle and just built the case around me. Not built the case and went, well, this is the evidence, it proves that it was you. They've just got me and said, right, it was you, let's build the case around it so it suits you.
Were you constantly thinking all the way through the arrest, all the way through the court case, when you started going to prison, were you thinking at some point someone is going to stand up and say, no, hang on a second, we've got the wrong fella?
Yep. All through my jail time, I thought they were going to come to my cell. I'll come on, Barry, look, you're free to go. We found out you're innocent, you can go now.
What was prison like for you?
Oh, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible place. Hated every minute of it.
You say you turned to drugs. This was in prison, was it? What drugs were you taking and how did they help?
Anything I can get my hands on, like prescription, illegal, anything. And it gave me an escape route. It made me not think of where I was. It took me from where I was at the time.
All the time this is going on, how are your family treating you? Did they know you were innocent or did they have suspicions? What were they thinking?
No, all my family knew I was innocent. Every single one of them. They all straight away knew I was innocent. All my friends, because they knew what sort of person I actually was. Like, where the police and the media portrayed me as this horrible person, all my family and friends knew I wasn't that person that I'm being portrayed in the media or by the police.
That was Barry White speaking to me. Barry served 6 years in prison for a murder that he didn't commit.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So it's in the front pages of some of the newspapers today that benefit fraudsters, those naughty people who claim benefits illegally, could face up to 10 years in prison. It sounds a little bit harsh to me. And also, is this demonising of the benefit claimants again? Because are there really that many benefit fraudsters? There are a few. Of course there are a few. You always read the story about the fellow who's got a bad back and then he's photographed bungee jumping in New Zealand, or the woman who's got 15 kids, but and she wants a bigger council house. You hear those stories, but am I naive in thinking that they're in the minority, that they're not really as many of those as certain newspapers would have us believe, surely most people who are claiming benefits, disability or job seekers allowance or housing benefits, surely most of those people would rather not be in that situation. They'd rather not be disabled. They'd rather not be signing on. They'd all rather be in gainful employment, wouldn't they? Or is that just me being a bit naive? What is job seekers allowance at the moment? 70 quid a week? Something like that. It's not a lot, is it? It's not a lot. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. What do you think? Are most people who are claiming benefits honest, decent people who would rather their situation was slightly different? Or are there a load of dodgepots out there and we should chuck them in prison for 10 years if they're cheating the system? 08459 455 555. It's 8:15, BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Adam Glynn.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, thankfully, there have been no accidents this morning, but it is quite busy on a lot of the main routes. The A1 southbound approaching the Black Cat roundabout is queuing, slow on the A1M past Hitchin and Stevenage, and then queues into London on the A1 through Boreham Wood from the Holiday Inn junction to Mill Hill Circus. M1 southbound slow from Flitwick to Luton, taking about half an hour from junction 12 to 10. The M40 southbound looking busy from Watlington to High Wycombe junction 6 to 4, and then long delays if you're going into London on the A40. This is from the Swakeleys roundabout at Uxbridge down to Gypsy Corner in Acton. There was an accident on the westbound carriageway as traffic leaves London, and a lot of people were slowing down past the scene. Clockwise M25 queuing from St Albans junction 22 past South Mims and the A1M at junction 23. Anti-clockwise queues start way back in Essex and go through and into the roadworks at Enfield junction 25, and then you have queues from the M1 to the M40 junction 21 to 16. Trains and tubes doing well. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Adam. It's 8:17. It's Monday the 16th of September. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Serco has dismissed 3 workers from Yarlswood Immigration Centre following allegations of unwanted sexual advances. People who commit benefit fraud can now get 10 years in prison. And the NHS is in control of the Surgery Centre in Stevenage after numerous complaints against the company that ran it. Wow, look, you know you've made it, Jonathan, when you're the tease at the end of my news bulletin.
Wow.
We'll talk more about that after we hear what JVS is talking about this morning.
That's me.
That's you.
There's a reason to stay tuned.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On Tuesday night, there are home games for 2 of our teams.
That's the move of the match from the Hatters.
And you can choose who to listen to.
The Tokyo into the box.
On digital radio, plus 98 and 103.8 FM, you can hear Watford against Doncaster.
Looks to tip the goalkeeper. What a goal! Christian Batokio!
Or listen to Luton versus Dartford online on medium wave 95.5 and 104.5 FM.
Andre Gray equalises with a stunning strike.
Three Counties Sport, Tuesday night from 7 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I find, yes, fiddling with the cable, because these headphones are on their way out. I have to fiddle with the cable, really give it a good waggle.
There we go.
You waggled it in?
Yes.
Yes. Why would the headphones work at a radio station, JVS?
That would be silly.
Wouldn't that be ridiculous?
It really would.
Those gentlemen, Luke and Jeff, they get very excited, don't they, about football?
They do.
I suggest too excited.
Really?
They should go off and go for a nice spa weekend. Massage, aromatherapy, the bubble baths.
What kind of weird fantasy is this?
And they need to just what I believe is called chillax. That's a cross between chilling and relaxing.
What? Why?
Because they get too excited, they're going to give themselves a heart attack.
But some people are like that, aren't they, over sport? They get all excited and do a dance.
What do you get excited about?
What do I get excited? I bought a new bike yesterday. I got quite... Why are you looking at me like that? I bought a bike.
OK. What, to ride?
Well, I'm going to try and ride it.
Have you got cycle clips?
No.
You should get some.
Apparently I don't need cycle clips with this because it has a chain guard.
Wowzers.
It's an old-fashioned vintage upright bike.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
What would you mean for goodness sakes?
One step down from a penny farthing.
Well, it's a little bit like that.
Yes.
How exciting is that, though? I did a little dance.
They're really hard to ride. Why don't you get like a BMX or a grifter or something?
Yeah, I've been told this.
Yes.
I've been told not only are they hard to ride, but because it's only got 3 gears, going up hills is a bit of a devil. I might have to get off and walk.
Oh, has it got a little basket at the front?
No, but it has got a little bell. And I think I could attach a basket. Don't you?
You should put one of those trailers at the back and put your cat in it so that it gets a bit of fresh air. Put it in like a plastic. I used to in another life. I used to do a phoning show somewhere else, and we used to have a woman who phoned in regularly. Who how did it work? She had a bicycle, or maybe it was a motorbike, and she had like a plastic sort of ball attached to the front of it, and she kept her budgerigar in there. And she would take her, and I saw it, she would take her budgerigar and this sort of plastic ball that was attached to her motorbike.
How ridiculous.
Do you keep books in the loo?
Magazines.
Oh. What magazines? Like Heat and OK?
Yes, things like that. Now, what have I got at the moment? I've got, I've got Men's Health. That's ironic. I've got a very nice book on Harpenden.
OK.
Your team are roaring with laughter. I don't know why that's funny.
Do you sit down and read these?
Do you know what the best toilet book is? The Argos catalogue. Oh, my word. If anything is going to make it all happen, it's the Argos catalogue. Kettles. Sandwich makers. 3-piece sweets.
What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning, I'm asking, why do people cheat the benefit system? The head of the Crown Prosecution Service has told the BBC it's time we took a tougher stance on benefits cheats. Keir Starmer, QC, wants those who cheat the benefit system to face the prospect of up to 10 years in prison. The cost of welfare fraud is an estimated £1.9 billion a year, and Mr Starmer says this shows getting one over on the system is not a victimless crime. Last year, 165 people a week were prosecuted for cheating the system with fake benefits claims. But were they motivated by greed, poverty or something else? From 9, I want to debate this and I want people's views. Why do you think people are cheating the benefit system? You know, what was quite interesting, this story today, they're saying, we're going to send people to prison for 10 years. Already the system will allow people to be sent for 7 years, which is quite a lot. I mean, that would scare me into doing it. Would it scare you?
Yes, it would. That would, yes.
So if there's already a fairly robust penalty for doing it, why are people still doing it? There must be some reason why they're doing it. Is it because they're desperate? Is it because the system is just too easy to manipulate? I want people's views and people's experiences. If you know of someone who's cheating the benefit system, why do you think they do it? 08459 455 555. We'll discuss this from 9.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Alka is in Redbourne. Good morning, Alka.
Good morning.
Alka, it's a lady. I wasn't sure what to expect. But where's that name from, Alka?
Alka, I originate. My mum and dad are from India originally.
It's a new one on me. Let me put it on the list of names. Hang on, where's my list of names I carry around with me? Here it is. Hang on. Put it at the top. Alka, lovely. It's there. What can I do for you, Alka?
Okay, so I heard you say with regards to stopping or trying to help Justin stop smoking.
Yeah.
And I own a Crown Pharmacy. I'm a co-owner of Crown Pharmacy in Redbourne and Shenley, and we offer clinics to patients who actually are quite keen to stop.
What happens in these clinics?
So what we do is we set up an initial meeting and we speak with our patients around, around when they smoke, why they smoke, how many they smoke a day, and then we try and coach them through trying to break the habits. But at the same time, we offer like patches in case we, just to help patients wean off the actual nicotine. And then we do like sessions every 2 or 3 weeks to see how they're going.
And are you in like a little support group with other smokers, or is it one-on-one?
No, it's one-on-one. It's a one-on-one session, and I have fully trained champions. It's what we call stop smoking champions. In each store.
Oh, dear.
So we've got fully trained staff that know how to coach, counsel, help people to stop. And actually, our quit rate is we're helping one patient per month stop smoking.
Justin, you're chuckling away there.
No, morning, madam. You're right. Yeah, morning to
Hello.
you. Sorry.
Morning.
Just got a few sort of talking to me in the street there, that was all. Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Justin.
Morning.
You're through to Alka, who thinks she can help you quit smoking.
Hello, Alka.
Hello, good morning, Justin.
The only way you're going to get me to quit smoking using patches is if you put the patches over my mouth so I can't inhale the smoke. That's the only way, I'm afraid.
Well, we can try that, but there's other options as well. We can help you with other forms of stop smoking kits that we have. We can help with regards to actually showing you how much money you might save. There was a patient that we had through who actually stopped smoking, and the money that he saved, he bought his wife a brand new car out of that money.
You could buy your wife a brand new car out of that money, Justin.
You see, the problem is it's not down to money. You see, no matter how much they put cigarettes up by, if you've got an addiction, you'll go and buy cigarettes. It's got nothing to do with the money. It's purely the addiction.
My problem with the patches, Alka, because I gave up smoking and I tried the patches, is that you're still getting the nicotine. So you're still hooked, as it were.
What we do is we slowly take you away from those. It's not like a cold turkey situation. It's actually to help and coach you through every stage. And
Alka,
then what happens?
My fantasy is to give up smoking. That is my fantasy. But what I'd like to do is still be a social smoker. In reality, can that work?
Well, you know, the fact is, if that's your fantasy to stop smoking, well, I think you should give our clinics a go and see how far we can go.
Well, it's worth a go, I suppose.
I think, you know, you've got nothing to lose. It's a free clinic that we offer. And, you know, we've got champions that are fully trained to help you. You know, what have you got to lose anyway?
Alka, do you run clinics to help people get off dressing badly and wearing fake tan?
We can try and set that up next year, maybe.
I think it's something. Alka, listen, thank you very much indeed. Justin, listen, I don't want to turn this into a bullying you on air thing, because I know that I know that's not fun for the person. But do you really want to stop smoking?
Not at this moment in time. No,
that's the thing that's missing.
The problem is, it's the stress, Ian, working with you day in, day out. It's a stressful experience.
Well, I understand that. I have very high standards, and I'm very, very demanding. And you're right to feel stressed.
Yes.
But so you don't want to give up. But in that case, you've got to stop coughing in the office.
Yeah, I know.
Stop it.
It's the first time. I think it's been a particularly good summer. So what's happened is, normally I'd have an afternoon nap. During the summer this year, I haven't done that. Sat out in the back garden for quite a bit and smoked more cigarettes. That's the problem.
Have you stolen 2 of my newspapers?
Yes. Thanks
very much indeed, Justin Dealey. I knew it. He's got my Son and my AN Other newspaper, the Daily News, or whatever it's called, the one that's got the story about the benefits fraudsters who are going to go to prison for 10 years. Well, JVS is talking about it. We're asking a slightly different thing. I mean, but do you think they should go to 10 years? Go to prison for 10 years? 08459 455 555. It seems a little bit harsh to me, and I was saying this earlier on. I like to think that most people who are claiming benefits, most of them, are doing it and would rather not be doing it. They would rather that they weren't disabled, or they would rather that they weren't unemployed, that their circumstances were a little bit different, and that they could go out and earn, a decent wage. Or is that me just being naive and being a little bit hippy-dippy? 08459 455 555. Benefit fraudsters, should they go to prison for 10 years? It just feels a little bit harsh to me. And also, am I right in thinking it would probably cost us more money to send them to prison? How much does it cost per lag? Yeah, prison slang. Per year? Normal words. It's got to be more expensive to send them to prison. If that's the case, it doesn't make economic sense to do it, does it? I'm not saying we should turn a blind eye to them, but 08459 455 555 is the phone number. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Things still very slow on the A1 southbound at the Black Cat roundabout. Delays through Roxton this morning. The A1M busy southbound as well. This is past Hitchin and Stevenage junctions 8 and 7. And into London, if you're driving through Boreham Wood, expect queues on the A1 from the Holiday Inn junction to Mill Hill Circus. Southbound M1 slow moving from Flitwick to Luton junction 12 to 10. The M40 southbound, it's pretty slow from Watlington to High Wycombe junction 6 to 4. Then again on the London bound side from Beaconsfield down down to the M25, junction 2 to 1. If you're going further into London on the A40, you can expect long delays from the end of the M40 at the Denham roundabout all the way through to Gypsy Corner in Acton. It's much worse than usual after an accident on the westbound side leaving London at Hillingdon earlier this morning. Clockwise M25 queuing St Albans through to South Mimms into the roadworks, anti-clockwise delays from back in Essex into the roadworks at Potters Bar, and anti-clockwise also slow M1 to the M40 junction 21 to 16. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Adam, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. A lot of things we need to tidy up in the last 30 minutes of the show. Books in toilets, treats for dogs, and benefit fraudsters. I know, isn't it busy? Let's get the news and sport now.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headline: security firm Serco has dismissed 3 employees at Yarlswood Immigration Centre in Bedfordshire. It follows allegations that women there have been subjected to unwanted sexual advances. Hertfordshire police say 2 people who stabbed a man in Stevenage may have been injured during the attack. The victim is in a critical condition after the stabbing at Harrow Court Flats in the early hours of Friday morning. People who commit benefit fraud can now get 10 years in prison. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Keir Starmer, says getting one over on the system was not a victimless crime. And the controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage is back under NHS control this morning. Doctors refused to refer patients to the privately run centre since the deaths of 3 patients after routine surgery. The weather will be cool today with blustery showers, top temperatures around 14 degrees Celsius, that's 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting with football, and Cristiano Ronaldo's new deal with Real Madrid has ended Manchester United's hopes of re-signing him. Ronaldo's signed a new 5-year contract with the Spanish club, which reportedly makes him the highest-paid footballer in the world. Luke Chadwick, Sean Williams and Patrick Bamford helped secure a 3-1 victory for the MK Dons against Notts County. Goal scorer Sean Williams is focusing on his own team's efforts.
I think we're just taking each game as it comes. We're not worrying about other teams' results and how they're doing. We're just worried about our own performances and making sure we can get as many points on the board as possible. And Peterborough's up next, so we'll focus our attention on them when we come back in training.
In the Premier League, Swansea play Liverpool at the Liberty Stadium this evening. Great Britain's Davis Cup team will play the top tennis nations next year. They won their playoffs 4-1 in Croatia after victories for Andy Murray and Dan Evans. Afterwards, Murray praised the work of Davis Cup captain Leon Smith.
The last few years there's been some great wins. You know, the guys have really stepped up, and it was something I spoke to Leon about a couple of years ago, was, you know, trying to get some experience from the younger guys to feel what it's like to play Davis Cup. The doubles guys have been very solid last couple of years. You know, being back in the World Group is big. We haven't been there for 5-6 years, and, you know, we haven't won a match in the World Group for a long time, so hopefully we'll be able to achieve that.
England's cricketers play Australia in the deciding one-day match of the series in Southampton today. England have rested captain Alistair Cook for the series to give him a break ahead of the Australian tour later this year. David Gower says that's the right decision.
The big difference, say, between playing the Ashes, you know, my favourite Ashes of '85, which was one very much to celebrate for me. We had that over something like 3 months. With the way things work nowadays, the intensity is higher, so it doesn't take quite so long, but you're always going from test match intensity, 3 days off with a bit of training with that, test match intensity again. So you can understand why a captain especially might be feeling a tad weary at the end of it all, and this rest period now I'm sure doing good.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport, with more at 9 o'clock.
Text 81333.
Start your message with 3CR.
Text will be charged at the standard network rate.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Don't forget, if you want, you can go and download the podcast of this show by going to iTunes and typing in Iain Lee BBC. It pops up, or by going to the Three Counties website and clicking the podcast link. A new one comes out every Friday, and it's the best bits, don't laugh, of the week. But first, before we anything else this morning, GPs have started referring patients back to the controversial surgery centre at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage. From this week, the centre is back under NHS control. 3 patients died there after routine surgery when it was under the ownership of the private building firm, that's right, building firm, Carillion. Jeremy Cox is chair of the Hertfordshire Local Medical Committee, which represents GPs in the area. Joins me now. Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning, Ian.
Will you feel more confident about referring patients there now?
To be honest with you, I think our feeling is it's a bit too early to know exactly what's going on. Clearly, there were some very severe problems, and we're pleased to see that action seems to be taken. We speak quite often to our local commissioning group, East and North Herts, and we've spoken to them last week about this. They're keeping an eye on performance and how things are going, and clearly once they're happy that the systems are fully back to what we would expect, we'll be writing out to GPs again.
The staff at the surgery centre won't change, will they?
No.
Does that raise concerns, do you think?
Well, from what I've already said, you can tell we want to be convinced that the management systems, which seem to be the problem that we were dealing with, have really got themselves sorted out. We didn't have concerns with the clinical staff. We just think the systems weren't working properly. And once we're confident that they are, we'll be pleased and happy to be able to refer to our local hospital again.
How did doctors feel when you heard about the patient deaths, and I think it was 8,500 patient records that have gone missing?
We were clearly extremely concerned. It's quite an unusual step for us as a local medical committee to take, to write to our colleagues to say that they should think long and hard before referring to a particular unit. But clearly the problems were of such a nature that was the step we had to take.
Was it doomed from the start, do you think, Jeremy? I was so surprised that Carillion, the business, the building company, who have no record in running hospitals, were put in charge of this.
There was a long process carried out by the local commissioners who were clearly different in those days. There were bids put in. There was a process that was supposed to be gone through. I think as a local doctor, I had no feeling when it started that there were going to be these problems. I presumed that the tender had gone out properly and had been carried out in a proper way.
What difference will it make now that it's under NHS control?
My hope, again, as a local doctor, is that we can make sure that the standard goes back to where we would expect, and that we can once again refer to our patients to a unit where they can look forward to excellent and effective care.
Jeremy, thanks very much for your time. Jeremy Cox, chair of the Hertfordshire Local Medical Committee.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Colin is in Dunstable. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you today?
Oh, not bad. I still haven't received that cheque for that report I did for you.
Yeah, but this was into how we sex up libraries.
Yeah.
To be honest, you said we couldn't sex them up.
Well, I still did the research.
Well, I can't pay you for no evidence and no... If you send me your workings out and I'll have a look at them.
All right. Anyway.
Yes.
Right. A bacteriologist...
Yes.
...studies...
Oh, here we go.
...bacteria.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
A microbiologist...
Yes.
...which is the word you were trying to think of, I believe...
All right. Mind reader. Darren Brown.
...is someone who studies anything which cannot be seen by the naked eye, i.e. you need a microscope to see it.
Yes.
This could be bacteria, this could be viruses,
yes,
prions, anything like that.
What's a prion?
Oh, it's a bit of protein. It's the one that was associated with
SARS.
mad cow disease.
Mad cow disease, OK. And what's a toxicologist, then?
A toxicologist studies the toxins or poisons.
Yes.
Which can, of course, be made by bacteria, viruses, etc.
Who's the best?
Sorry?
Who's the best out of all of them?
Oh, I've no idea. They're each own discipline.
If you had to pick one to save from a house fire, what would it be? I'd go for the microbiologist.
It would have to be a microbiologist.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
There's no choice about it.
Yeah.
Colin, well, thank you so much for that.
It's my pleasure.
It literally is. Wilf's in Olney. Good morning, Wilf.
Good morning.
Good morning, Wilf. What can we do for you?
You was on about them toilets, you know, the ones where they put the bench across the hole.
Well, I wasn't on about them, but Dennis in Dunstable was, yes.
Well, all I can remember is they used to call the man who made them the Prince of the Chilterns.
The Prince of the Chilterns. He was the fella that dug holes in the ground and that you'd do a whoopsie.
Yeah.
Why did they call him that?
I suppose he was the Prince of making the toilets, wasn't he?
Yes, again, why did they call him Prince of the Chilterns?
I've got no idea. You're going back to, like, the 1940s and 50s.
I'm trying to think, is there some kind of rhyming slang there? But I can't think of one.
No, I don't think there is. But I think if you look through your computer somewhere, they even made a film of him changing the shape of the holes because people were spending too much time in the toilet.
So this is what Dennis was kind of banging on about. Sorry, I do apologise. Let me just explain to the listener who's just tuning in. The reason we're talking about toilets is we were talking about people who keep books in toilets. Dennis called in with a book about toilets. It had to be disallowed. But Wilf, so you're saying that people would stay too long on these holes in the ground, so they made the toilets a different shape?
Yeah.
And made them uncomfortable?
Yeah. If I remember the film rightly, it's an old black and white film. He made one of them into a star shape.
What?
Another one into an oblong, and it's so that they didn't get comfortable in the seat to spend too much time in there, the farmhands and that.
So this is a film called Prince of the Chilterns?
I don't know if it's called that, but
Right.
I know they nicknamed him Prince of the Chilterns, right?
I'm going to IMDb. Let's find out. No, it takes me to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I don't think is about that at all. Okay, well, we're getting closer, but in many ways we're getting further apart as well. But Wilf, thank you for that insight.
That's all right.
Do you have any books? Do you have any books in your toilet, Wilf?
No, I ain't big enough for that. I use the books for toilet paper, can't I?
Thank you very much indeed. There we go, you see. This is the quality of listener I've brought with me to BBC Three Counties Radio. For that, I can only apologise. Shall we have a quick look at the front pages of some of the newspapers? Because Dealey's nicked most of my papers. What have we got here? We've got 1, 2, we've got 5. And they're not the fun ones. What one, where? We pointed... That's the sports section from the Telegraph. And that's the business section. Where is the... for goodness sakes. Front page of the Telegraph. The show is slowly... Can we ask Jonathan if he wants to come in 20 minutes early? The show is slowly collapsing around my ears. I think it's time he came in and picked up the pieces. Minister, we must debate the future of the veil. This is the front page of the Telegraph. Liberal Democrat says Muslim girls have garment imposed on them and a ban should be considered. Mr Brown said he is instinctively uneasy about banning behaviour, but suggested the measure may still be necessary to ensure freedom of choice for girls in Muslim communities. Well, hang on a second. If you're banning it, you are eradicating freedom of choice. Yes, there may be some young women who wear the veil and would rather not. But, what are you doing? Right, where's my son? Bye. Unbelievable, Justin Dealey. Where's the son? He's kept the son, hasn't he? If you're banning it, then you're removing all freedom of choice. Let's have a look at the Times that Justin Telegraph has just tossed in my face. Let's see what we've got here. The Times, 10-year jail term for benefit fraudsters. We'll be talking to Dealey about that in a little bit. Oh, is there a fashion show somewhere? Yeah, London Fashion Week, where a bunch of idiots get together and wear stupid clothes that no one's ever going to wear. And they'll go, oh, isn't that fantastic, darling? Aren't you good? No. Stupid clothes. The Mulberry Show at London Fashion Week milks the idea of Englishness to the max as Emma Hill, the label's creative director for the past 6 years, bowed out with hugs, tears and a storming collection. Well, the storming collection is they've got a dog in a pinny. That's the storming collection, a dog in a tabard. How is that? How is that a storming collection? She was getting hugs and tears for having a nervous breakdown that prompted her to design a dog in a tabard. London Fashion Week. Did you see this? They had the onesie, that's a onesie with a balaclava that completely covers your body, and then the nunsie, which was the kind of thing you can pick up in an Ann Summer shop, I've been led to believe, where it's like a body stocking. Jeez. And these people probably get paid, what, I don't know, hundreds of pounds a week? At least. Paul Hollywood. Oh, Paul Hollywood is putting his name on pants.
Haven't we all got... The whole nation, the whole world, indeed, has grown collectively bored of Paul Hollywood, haven't we? He was, like, fun for about a few minutes, then he went out, he dumped his wife and went out with that girl. It's a spicy mix. An alleged extramarital affair... Oh, it's alleged, is it? Just delete what I just said. Followed by an attempt to conquer the world of culinary merchandise, including underwear. He's making... Oh, let's get some Hollywood pants. Jeez. I might make some pants. I'm not gonna... The Guardian. No, it's boring. It is. There's not a lot of news around today. The Independent. The Paloma Faith. Singer Paloma Faith and her massive gums attended the Temperley show at London Fashion Week yesterday, which also featured collections by Dame Vivienne Westwood. She's still going. Loren Scott and Mary Kratzan too. This is on the front page of a newspaper. Who cares? Legalising cannabis, the £1.25 billion tax benefit. The Daily Mail, criminals on bail commit 1 in 7 murders, and there's a picture of another girl at London Fashion Week. Why are all the newspapers so obsessed with London Fashion Week? And Mick Jagger is at London Fashion Week in the front page of the Daily Express. What is it about London Fashion Week? I don't get it. He is. He's looking for a new girlfriend, bless him. Well done, he. Well done, he. 7:45, BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel news now while I go and have a drink of milk.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Continues to queue on the A1 at the Black Cat roundabout southbound through Roxton. The A1M then slow from Hitchin to Stevenage and queues into London. Boreham Wood, the Holiday Inn junction down toward Mill Hill Circus. The M1 southbound is slow from Flitwick to Luton, junction 12 to 10. The M40 particularly busy from Watlington to High Wycombe, junction 6 to 4. Then again from Beaconsfield to the M25, junction 2 to 1A. It's looking pretty busy on the A404 to and from the M40 around High Wycombe as well, going down toward Marlow in particular. Looking at the A414 in London Coney westbound, it's slow. There was an accident a bit earlier this morning with 2 vehicles involved. This was between the London Coney roundabout and the Park Street roundabout, and although it's been cleared out of the way, you are going to find it very, very busy around there. Clockwise M25 queuing into the roadworks at South Mimms. Also busy anti-clockwise from Essex through toward the works at Potter's Bar. And as you continue, the M1 to the M40 junction 21 to 16 looking really busy as well. Trains and tubes, though, are for the moment running well. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Adam. 8:46, it's Monday the 16th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Serco has sacked 3 staff at Yarlswood Immigration Centre following allegations of unwanted sexual advances. People who commit benefit fraud can now get 10 years in prison. And detectives say 2 people who stabbed a man in Stevenage may have been injured during the attack. Coming up, we'll be talking about benefits and the fact that some people may go to prison for 10 years for committing benefit fraud. If you want to have your say on that, 08459 455 555. But before that, here's the weather. Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's a chilly start to the day. It's also a bright and a sunny start, but we are going to see some showers. They'll probably push in through the course of the afternoon, so don't be too surprised to see one or two showers around, a little bit of wet weather. The showers should be quite fleeting in nature because of the brisk westerly breeze yesterday. Still feeling really very windy. The strong winds continuing through the rest of the day. Top temperatures today only up to 14 degrees Celsius. That's 57 in Fahrenheit. Some spots perhaps getting up to 15, but generally it is quite cool for September. Don't get the wrong end of the stick though, it is going to be quite dry for many places. Will stay dry all day, I think, and there will be some spells of brightness and sunshine in between the showers, so it's certainly not all bad news. Now overnight tonight the skies are going to clear, temperatures down to 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. It could be quite a chilly night again, and it's going to stay quite windy into tomorrow. So tomorrow then, clouding over quite quickly through the morning and eventually some outbreaks of just light and patchy rain. This rain could turn heavier, particularly towards southern areas of the 3 counties through the course of the afternoon, generally staying quite unsettled and really quite cool as well for the rest of the working week. Things may just look up at the weekend. We might just be seeing another warmer spell, but all to play for really over the next few days. That's the forecast.
Every weekday morning from 9, the biggest local talking points.
There is only one professional force that can control chemical weapons. How can we, as a civilised country, stand by and let more poor innocent children get killed?
The JVS Show.
Harry's in Bedford. Let's see what Harry wants to say.
She knew what the laws were. She knew what she was doing. She got caught tough.
I disagree with the penalty. I think that for smuggling drugs, it shouldn't be a death penalty.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9. BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555. Frank's in Kempston. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Ivanovic.
Yes, look at you, you old romantic, flirting with
smile,
me.
Didn't it?
It did make me smile, Frank, and that's what life's all about.
Of course it is. And to cheer you up a bit too. Those fashion were getting you down.
Oh my God! Are you interested in London Fashion Week?
No, I'm not far from it. I'm on your side.
Is anybody interested in London Fashion Week? No, it's just a pointless load of toffs running around in ridiculous clothes.
Obviously, it sells papers.
Well, I don't know if it does.
Well, somebody thinks so.
Do you have any books in the toilet?
There were toilets, the old bogs that they used to dig in the army days.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, that book it was written about was called The Long Drop.
Which book?
The book on toilets.
Oh, the book that Dennis and Dunstable was talking about.
Yeah, it's called The Long Drop.
How has he managed to hijack
and
this
the other
show?
One was that the fellow walked in the dark, one of those very pits. And unfortunately to him, he didn't know there's a chap in there with two wooden legs, and he thought it was a wheelbarrow and tipped him in the pit. You've got to believe that, haven't you?
That never happened.
Well, it should have happened.
Well, it should do. No, hang on, no, it shouldn't. Let's not pick on.
That'll get you smiling, Ian.
Frank, thank you very much indeed. Very kind. Hands up who understood that phone call. Anybody? No? Thank you very much indeed. Angelina is in Bedford. Hello, Angelina. Oh, no, hello,
Good morning, young man again.
Good morning to you, young lady.
Good morning. I spoke to you last Monday morning.
What were we talking about?
Badgers.
Oh, badgers. Oh, badgers. Oh, you never sent us pictures.
Oh, we did.
We didn't get them. No, you didn't.
Right. All right, we'll get them off to you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're lucky you're allowed back on after that faux pas.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, for those who know, Angelina was at a badger protest. They had to dress in black and paint their faces white.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then poor old badgers, they're still getting gunned down, so let's keep on supporting the badgers.
Yeah, well...
In the meantime,
yes.
Yes, Fashion Week. Now, I think you've missed the idea, young man, haven't you?
What the idea is a load of idiots walking around in clothes that nobody's ever going to buy and then patting themselves on their backs.
You're going to get into so much trouble for that, and you know it,
with a bunch of fashion designers, I could have them in a fight.
I know, but you see, the thing is, okay, that like Vauxhall, etc., make prototypes of cars.
Yes.
Well, the same with these fashion designers. Good old Stella McCartney also is backing the ban on the cull and doesn't want the badgers killed. Good old Stella McCartney.
Well, because her dad's a veggie. But how has that got? How are you trying? You can't tie that in with London Fashion Week.
Because I was going to say, Ian, if you get some designer pants with your name on them, as long as you get the badgers on them, we'll buy them.
I'm not. Do you know? I'm going to put right just to annoy you now, Angelina. I'm going to put a picture of a badger with a shotgun in its head. On my pants.
No, you mustn't do that.
On my
that's
pants.
Really contentious.
On my
you
pants.
Wouldn't want the poor little badgers to be killed now, would you?
I have to be impartial.
So please be good, Ian, and please be nice about the badgers and let's stop killing them.
Okay,
please.
Angela. Thank you, Angelina. Thank you very much indeed. Angelina in Bedford there. I'm not quite sure how she managed to... hands up who understood the last two phone calls. Anyone? No. Justin Daly.
Hello, Ian. You're right there.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's going on. The show... Is this one of those dreams where you dream a whole day's work and then you wake up and go, oh, no, I've got to do a whole day's work again? Because this is what it feels like.
It's been a bizarre one. And you know what? These people that sponsor animals, such as badgers and lions and things like that, OK? But people out there who do sponsor these animals. Now, let's just say that you come face to face with a lion and he's about to eat you and you say, no, hang on, I've sponsored you. Is he going to take any notice? No, he's not.
Here's the thing, these are genuine facts, okay? Yeah. How do you stop an alligator, or a crocodile, not being racist, from eating you?
No. To play a Des O'Connor song, maybe?
No, seriously, it's not the punch. Hang on, the team next door, Catherine and Kelly Betts, you're saying a punch to the face, are you?
Conk. Yes.
No, it's not. You get a plank of wood, a piece of wood, a branch, and you put it in its mouth so its jaw stays open.
Where'd you get that from?
Well, you'll probably be in a swamp or a forest, so that's where you get it from.
punch him in the nose while you're getting the...
OK, this one's for you, Justin, then we'll let these two lose, the production team come in. How do you stop a shark from eating you?
I know what to do there. You hit it on the nose.
That's it. That's the one you punch on the nose. It's a shark. It's hard to punch underwater, so you've got to try and tempt it out of the water. You smack it on the nose. While the shark goes, "Oh, flipping it! I'm having none of this. I'm going to go and."
So you're saying to me, if I tried that with a crocodile or an alligator, they'd say, no, wrong species.
Yeah, you want to be doing that with the shark. I need a bit of wood in my mouth.
Here's a fact for you: sharks don't actually like the taste of human flesh. They think we are a giant fish, so that's why they normally take one bite and one bite only.
Just one bite is all it takes, though, Justin.
I know that, but I'm just saying they don't like the taste of human flesh.
How do you stop a dog if a dog has got his mouth on your arm and he won't let go of it? How do you get him to let go?
The bum.
Pull its tail.
So, Kelly?
The bum.
You put a finger up its backside. It's true.
Kelly probably does that for fun anyway.
OK, for goodness sakes, let's just come on now, please. I don't want to get sacked from this job as well. I've lasted here just over a year, and while that may be a world record for me, I'd like to stay a little bit longer. Now, Justin.
Yes.
Serious matters. I know JBS will be talking about this after 9 o'clock. There are. There's the invasion. There are calls to send... What on earth is going on there, for goodness sake?
No idea. I think they're now working with you.
Go home.
They're coming to take me away. Ha-ha, hoo-hee, hee-ha, to the funny farm.
10-year jail term for benefit fraudsters is the front page of the Times. I sent you out to ask people about it. You managed to find your equipment, did you?
Yes, I got the equipment. I mean, currently, of course, it's 7 years anyway, so it's not a massive leap. I think 3 years won't make a big amount of difference personally. If they doubled it, maybe that would put more people off. But you were saying earlier on, you weren't quite sure whether it was harsh or not, 10 years in prison for this. I have been asking people that question. Here's what people have had to say.
I don't think it's too harsh, really, because we work and there's people that sit on their bums all day doing nothing and they reap all our benefits instead, so I agree with it.
As you say, you're working very hard for a living, like most people are.
I don't have much of a life, you know. I get home from work and all I can do is wash my clothes, cook my dinner, go to bed. Other people can buy all these fancy TVs, things like that, and do nothing.
These people that are claiming these benefits illegally make you pretty angry then by the sounds of things?
Yes, and I know they make other people angry as well, you know. When you have conversations, it always comes up every now and then when you're having a bad day and you're just like, I just want to sit on my own, do nothing.
Let me ask you this lastly then, because it makes you so angry. If you knew somebody was claiming benefits illegally, would you pick up the phone? Would you make that call? Would you grass that person up?
I wouldn't straight away. I'd try and get them to own up for themselves, but if it went on too long and they were taking the mickey, then yeah. If they are faking their illness, everything like that, then fine. If they are truly ill, then they should be entitled to it, but no. If they're fraudulent, then no.
No sympathy.
No.
No, it's probably about right.
Maxine, we're looking at the front page of the Times here. 10 years, is that a bit harsh? What do you think?
10 years, possibly a little bit harsh, but I still don't personally think they're hard enough on benefit fraudsters, to be honest. They need to be a bit more severe punishment. It does annoy me that, there are people out there that can play the system and can play the system very well and get away with it, when people that seem to make a genuine mistake on the system are the ones that they clamp down hardest on, I think.
If you knew that somebody, let's just say where you lived, was claiming benefits illegally, would you grass them up?
I don't know, because sometimes I think when you get involved, it causes yourself more problems than really if you just turn a blind eye, but I'd like to think I would.
Would you grass someone up, Justin?
It's a really tough one, isn't it? Because, obviously people are doing this because you would think they're desperate for money. I think if there's children involved, you probably would think twice. But then again, why should the majority of people go to work very, very hard for a living, yet there's people out there that are playing the system? I love these programmes where they go out and they film these people, undercover filming, and they say, I can't walk, and there they are, running to the local pub or going to the local bookies. I like it when that happens, but simply, too many people out there. I think it's got £1.9 billion a year of welfare fraud. That's a lot of money. Something's got to happen.
But how do we know that is welfare fraud? If we know that, then the government must know who's doing it, so why don't they do something about it?
Well, they would argue that they are doing something about it, but unfortunately, like everything, they can't catch every single person. So no matter what they do, there's always going to be somebody out there playing the system and playing it very well.
Do you still get paid cash in hand for this job, Just?
No, I don't. Why's that?
I was just wondering.
Right.
You've been signing on recently?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Justin Daly, speak to you later.
Thanks, Ian.
Ta-ta, there we go. Excellent stuff from Justin. That's it. That's your lot today. Thank you to producer Catherine for steering this ship through the murky waters. The good ship News through the murky waters of not a lot of news. It's 8:58. Let's get the travel news now with Adam.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Plenty going on the road still this morning. Busy as you come southbound along the A1 into Roxton and toward the Black Cat roundabout. Once you get beyond there, it runs quite well past Sandy and Biggleswade, but it slows again on the A1M from Letchworth to Stevenage, junctions 9 to 7, and then into London through Boreham Wood from the Holiday Inn junction to Mill Hill Circus. Southbound M1 slow from Redbourne to Hemel Hempstead, junctions 9 to 7. M40 southbound slow Wattlington to High Wycombe, junction 6 to 4. And if you're getting on the A404 there heading to Marlow, that's looking busy as well. But if you're sticking with the M40, it slows up again from Beaconsfield to the M25. London Coney, the A414, busy after a two-vehicle accident earlier between the London Coney roundabout and the Park Street roundabout. And the M25 still queuing anti-clockwise through the roadworks. Adam Glynn, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Adam. Right, that's it. That's your lot. Don't forget you can go and download the podcast from iTunes or the Three Counties website. JVS is up next. Until 6 tomorrow from me. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Monday, and on today's big phone-in, why do you think people cheat the benefit system? The head of the Crown Prosecution Service has